Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Davey Deathray here. Let me get a little background music on for us. How about that? Ooh, there we go. It just makes me feel so much better. Hope you guys had an excellent week and that you're all pumped and ready for the weekend. I love jumping on with you guys here on Friday evenings. It's always a blast hanging out a little bit late. It's just about 7 o'clock out here in Arizona, but I know for you East Coast folks, it's a bit of a late night, so you get a kind of a double dose of late night with the Davey, as it were. So yeah, guys, tonight we are going to talk. You know, last Friday we talked about the best horror movie sequels, and so I figured this week we'd talk about the worst ones. Now, I guess that's all a matter of opinion, of course. So we're going to jump into a whole bunch of them. Thank you guys so much to everybody that contributed, not only here on YouTube by jumping in on the comments section on my post, but also for replying on Instagram. I did a little story on Instagram and asked you guys to contribute your least favorite or worst horror movie sequels. So we've got a handful. A lot of people said Halloween Resurrection, and I know we talked a little bit about that this past Wednesday, but we will jump in and have a little more Halloween Resurrection talk, because how can you not, right? So I just want to jump in and say what's up to everybody in the chat, and then we're going to do a little channel membership giveaway here. We've got 10 channel memberships to give away here for the Davey Deathray channel. Looks like we have 17 people kicking it with us in the live stream. If you are hanging out or watching after the fact, please make sure to click that like button. Thank you so much to everybody that is watching after the fact. Make sure to jump in the comments section down below. Let me know your thoughts on worst horror movie sequels, and maybe there's one that we talk about here on the stream that you're actually a defender of and you want to get in some points. So feel free to do that. If you're not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and share the channel with somebody who you think would enjoy this kind of content. So yeah, really quick before I say what's up to everybody in the chat, we do have a poll here that I just put up there. Since we're talking sequels, I was just curious to know, which horror movie franchise do you most want to see make a return to the big screen? Now, I left off Halloween because I figure even the most ardent Halloween fan needs a little bit of a break. And also, we just got 3 of those movies. So, you know, our options here are Friday the 13th, A Nightmare on Elm Street, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Child's Play. So far, we've got 15 votes. And A Nightmare on Elm Street, surprisingly to me, is winning with 53% of those votes. Now just 50% on 16 votes. I'm shocked. I thought it would be that Friday the 13th would run away with it right from the beginning, and who knows? We'll keep an eye on that poll as the night goes on, see if it evens out a little bit. But make sure if you're jumping in, hanging out with us, that you participate in that poll if you've got any sort of opinion. Holy cow, we have 64 messages in the chat. You guys are crazy awesome. Thank you so much for being so supportive and so badass. Really pumped to be, you know, back doing this a lot more regularly than I have the last, you know, 2 to 3 months or so. It's just been kind of wild in my life, but really pumped to be back with you guys. I know I mentioned this the other night on Late Night with the Davey, but just in case any of you missed it, I've reached out to my guy Foz Rotten. We're putting together an episode of Movie Punks. That's a live show that we do where we talk about a movie that has kind of like just a punk rock attitude or a punk rock feel. It doesn't necessarily have to be horror, although sometimes it intersects there as well. And then I've also been chatting with Matt Facci from Facci Cinema. It looks like we're going to be doing another episode of Start Bench Cut on April 28th. I believe that is a Monday. Yes. Monday, April 28th. We're going to be doing that. I've been chatting with Mark from Tales from the Shelf about doing another Versus episode where we pit 2 movies against each other. We usually pick like the same franchise, and then we've got, you know, criteria that we go through and we grade. We award each criteria or each item there a winner between the 2 choices. So that's going to be Thursday, the 17th of April. So we got some things in the works that I'm really, really pumped about. I'll be posting those streams as we, you know, have thumbnails and all that fun stuff built. So keep an eye out. You're going to be seeing more regular content here on the channel. And of course, I do want to make sure for all my amazing channel members, you know, that we're going to be getting back and doing a members only stream. So I'm going to be planning one of those for Sunday. So I'll make a post for all the channel members and I'll give you guys an option of what you want to do on Sunday. If it's like a watch party, if you want to do like an Ask Me Anything, if you want to do another horror trivia, that was really fun. Although I'm worried that Jamie Hart is going to win every single horror trivia, but we'll see. Okay, guys, I'm going to say what's up to everybody. We'll do the channel membership giveaway and we'll jump into the worst horror movie sequels. Hope you guys are having a great night. King Matthew III says, in my opinion, I think the worst sequels of all time go to the Hellraiser series after Hellraiser 2. I mean, 3 was all right, but the rest of the movies suck, in my opinion. You know, it's funny. I do like Hellraiser 3. I think it's pretty fun, but I've avoided all of the other Hellraiser movies just for exactly what you're saying, King Matthew. I've heard all of the other ones are so terrible, so I haven't even checked them out. So I do need to jump in. But of course, guys, just because if I haven't seen a particular sequel that you want to talk about tonight, we can still discuss it, okay? So even if it's something I'm not super familiar with, I do want to hear from you guys in the chat. So start letting me know about those, and I'll star those chats as we go along so we can jump into that conversation. What's happening, Lamontre? How are you doing? We got Chester Franklin Jr. What's happening? We got Wax Lavish. I've got some interesting factoids for you on some Hellraiser lore. All right. Hell yeah. We got Paula Fitzhenry, one of our great channel members. How you doing, Paula? Denise Wheat, another channel member. Hope you're having a great day so far, Denise. Hey there, Matt. Welcome, welcome. Hope you had a great night at work the other night and that you're ready to relax a little bit and talk some terrible horror movie sequels. Blu-ray Addict in the chat. What's happening, Blu-ray? Hope you are doing well. We got Antonis Andriotis. What's happening, bud? Hope you're having a great week so far. Let's see who else we got going on in here. We got Prince in the house. The Asian action assassin has entered the building. What's happening, Prince? Hope you've had a great week, man. We've got Melanie from Screen Queen Reviews. How are you doing, Melanie? Melanie had contributed Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2, which I do have on the list, Melanie. I do want to talk about that because I think I've only seen it like twice. I can't remember if I liked it or not. But I've seen it pop up on other lists. I know that you had mentioned it in the post that I had, so we will definitely talk that one for sure. We got Billy Judd in the house. What's happening? And of course, Melanie is one of our great channel members. Always got to give that extra shout out. We got Big Rod, another awesome channel member, says, hello all, Wrong Turn 3 gets my vote for worst sequel ever. Man, that is a franchise. I don't think I've seen any of those Wrong Turn movies. Did they already reboot that series? Don't they have like a Wrong Turn 5 Bloodlines? Isn't that one of the famous Bloodlines movies? It just seems like any movie that has Bloodlines, it doesn't bode well. Hopefully Final Destination can break that trend, although I'm pretty lukewarm on the Final Destination franchise. We will talk about at least one of those movies tonight for sure, depending on how many you guys bring up. I know I've got one on my list for sure. Let's see here. Who else do we have? The Oct jumping in with 210 days until Halloween. Yes, halfway to Halloween is coming up at the end of the month, folks. So we're going to do a little celebration. Maybe I'll have to do a watch party and bring on a collaborator. I think after doing the watch party with Vincent DeSanti from Womp Stomp Films, you know, when we celebrated 40 years of Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning, I had such a fun time doing a watch party where there was another person involved. So, you know, it just kind of, there's a little bit more back and forth. It doesn't put all the pressure on me to sit there and react to every little moment or think that I have to say something to every little bit that happens in the film. There's a good kind of a little bit of a ping pong game there. So I've already got some ideas brewing up about what to do for halfway to Halloween. So stay tuned on that one for sure. Oh, Prince, it is your birth month. All right, man. What day of April is your birthday? Let me know. We got Brett Patrick, one of our great channel members in the house. What's happening? He says Blair Witch 2 is Drek. All right, so it's confirmed. Blair Witch 2 is terrible. The Oct voted for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. All right. Heck yeah. Yeah, we got some fans out there. I know if Ashton Luck is in the house, he specifically avoided Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I'm sure. We got Jonathan Nichols saying Hellraiser Revelations. Is that the one with Adam Scott in it? Because even though I haven't seen the entire movie, I have seen, or is that one of the other ones? Is that another Bloodlines movie? Is Revelations the one where they replaced the actor that played Pinhead? They just, one guy had like a one-off and he just doesn't even really look like Pinhead. He's got like a way thicker head. I don't know. For whatever reason, I just think Pinhead looks good when he's relatively slender. I mean, even in the new one where I believe, if I remember correctly, I think it's a trans actor that played Pinhead in the new one, but a very similar look just to from what we're used to. Because I think in the book, as far as I can remember, Pinhead is described as pretty androgynous anyway. So I just like that thin, kind of gangly. I don't need Pinhead to look like a bruiser, and I think he kind of looks like a bruiser in Revelations. Just talking a lot about a movie that I haven't even seen. Hot take from Matt Artnett. Hot take, Halloween H2O isn't great either. Yes, we will talk about that for sure. Vanderhoff is in the chat. What's happening, Dave? Hope you're having a great one. We got our amazing channel member, Jared Arnold, in the house. What's crack-a-lackin', Davey? Not much, just been having a chill day of watching some baseball and getting in a little workout and then prepping for the stream here. Let's see who else we got in the house. Looks like I might be all caught up. Nope, we got Ashton Luck. So there he is, avoiding Texas Chainsaw Massacre. In the poll is Ashton Luck. I wonder which one you voted for, Ashton. Are you more of a Friday the 13th guy? Or are you more of a Nightmare on Elm Street kind of kid? We got our amazing Death Squad mod, the OG Death Squad mod, and channel member Jamie Hart in the chat. And one-time and current champion of members-only horror trivia. Hope you're having a great week so far, Jamie, and that the road to recovery has been treating you well, and you're feeling great. All right. I promise I won't participate in every trivia chat. Hey, you can. More power to you. You know, just beat the hell out of them. You know what I mean? All right. Jeepers Creepers Reborn and Wrong Turn 5 are hard to beat. I'm going to star that one. You could search the world over and not find a worse sequel than Exorcist II. Let's save that one as well. Jamie loves Blair Witch 2 Book of Shadows, even in its flawed state. Interesting. All right. I'm going to save that one. We have another Hellraiser Revelations. T. Parker's jumping in, said, had a fun time seeing Hell of a Summer, but it's definitely wait for streaming type of movie. Ooh, meanwhile, Minecraft. Ooh, no comment. Yeah, I've heard some good things about Hell of a Summer, and then I've just recently heard some not great things. That's too bad. It looks like a pretty tongue-in-cheek kind of funny movie, Hell of a Summer. But yeah, man, wait for streaming. I kind of wanted to go see it in the theater, but I guess not. We got Herbert Geddes in the chat. What's happening? Hope you're doing well, Herbert. Great to see you, as always. Billy, I think I said hi to you, but just in case I missed you, there it is again. How's it going? Let's see here. I might be all caught up. Boom! I think I'm all caught up with everybody hanging out in the chat. So guys, what do you say we give away some channel members? We got 20 people kicking it with us. Before we give away those memberships, though, I'm going to take a look at the voting. We have 20 votes. Ooh, A Nightmare on Elm Street has 45%. Friday the 13th with 40%. Texas Chainsaw Massacre at just 15%. And ain't nobody wanting to see Child's Play return to the theater. Even if it's the original, even if they bring back Brad Dourif in the theater. That's interesting. I thought maybe Antonis would have voted for Child's Play. But maybe Antonis, maybe you haven't voted yet, so I'm not sure. But okay, let's go ahead and give away some memberships here. So I'm going to gift 5 right now. Boom, there it is. Let's see who gets these. All right. So Doc Kaiju, Scratch Burno, DJ Plays Favorites, Mools, and Daniel Banks were all gifted memberships. I don't think any of those people are hanging out with us, but maybe they'll jump on in and be like, what's all this membership business? And yeah, so congratulations to our brand new members there. That's 5 of them. There they are. And let's go ahead and gift the other 5 right now as well. Come on, big money, no whammies. Let's see if somebody who's hanging out in the chat is going to be gifted one right now. The Nerf Ninja, Josh G, Nanette's Blood Rose Horror Nightmare, Brent Madison, and Antonis Andriotis were all gifted memberships. Yeah, welcome to the noobs, as Jamie says here. Yeah, welcome noobs. Maybe they'll jump on in and hang out with us and let us know what some of their least favorite horror sequels are. Yeah, of course. Congrats to all 10 of our brand new channel members. We have another mention here by Chester Franklin Jr. All right. For Omen 4. Ooh, that's another one I haven't seen. I've seen the original Omen. So yeah, let's see here. Let me jump into some of your guys's. Yeah, let's talk about. So I actually didn't put this one on the list, but I do have, a few Halloween movies listed. Hot take Halloween H2O. Guys, let me know in the chat. Do you think that H2O is one of the worst sequels, at least within the Halloween franchise? Is that, who agrees with Matt's hot take right there? Because I would say that it might, yeah, I would say for me, H2O is kind of in the back of my ranking. I'm trying to think. Of course, Resurrection I like least. And then I would say Halloween 5. I think H2O is like right there. I'm one of the ones, and we're going to talk about this movie later. Curse of Michael Myers. I like Curse of Michael Myers more than H2O. And then another one we're going to talk about, even though I'm a huge fan of it, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, because it gets a lot of hate out there. I like that one more than H2O as well. So I don't know. Maybe I'm with Matt on this one. I don't think it's like, if I'm thinking of all the worst horror movie sequels, like from every franchise, I'm probably not going to be that harsh on H2O. But if we're talking about just within the Halloween franchise, I do think it is one of the worst sequels for sure. Let's see who else we got here. Gavin brings up a couple good ones here. Jeepers Creepers Reborn and American Psycho 2. I'm going to save those. Welcome to the chat. Mud Nelson, one of our great channel members. Antonis says the reason I did not vote for Child's Play is because we had a movie in the theater almost 6 years ago now. Oh, yeah, I mean the remake, right? I'm talking about going back to the original. I definitely don't want to see a sequel to the remake. But a sequel to the original line, that could be fun. Let's see here. What did I miss about... What did I miss about... worst horror sequel hot take? Oh my gosh. Jimmy, I'm going to save that one. Because I just saw what Matt had responded talking about Dennis Hopper. So I was like, which sequel are we talking about here? I just wanted to make sure. Blu-ray Addict brings up another one. Cube 2, Hypercube. I think I've seen that one. It's been so damn long, though. Blu-ray says, I don't really like Halloween H2O. Even as a kid, I wasn't a big fan of it. Yeah, I liked it in the theater. It was just exciting to see a Halloween movie in the theater and have Jamie Lee come back to the franchise. But every time I watch that movie, guys, I like it less and less. There's just something about H2O that, I don't know. Michael really doesn't work for me in that movie. And if Michael doesn't work for me in the movie, you're going to be pretty hard pressed to have me enjoy the movie. It's one of the reasons why I don't like Halloween 5 very much either, is I really don't like the mask. Even H4. A lot of people love Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. I think it's okay. I think at least half of the movies in the franchise are better than Halloween 4. Maybe that's my hot take right there. But we're not talking hot takes. We're talking worst. T. Parker says H2O is one of the better Halloween movies. It's an 8 out of 10 film for him. All right. Well, hey, more power to you. I know there's plenty of people that really, really love H2O. There you go. The Oct has H2O in the top 5. Denise loves H2O, all right. H2O is kind of blah, says Jared Arnold. Chris Duran is not a good Michael Myers. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of his portrayal at all. Yeah. Yeah, the way he portrays Michael, not having the eye black around the eyes, so you see not only his eyes, but you see the area around his eyes a lot. I don't mind seeing it. Like, I had mentioned on Wednesday, in Halloween 5 when Michael has the brute mask on and Tina thinks that it's her boyfriend Michael, not Michael Myers, and you see his wide eyes, like that really creeps the hell out of me. But there's something about seeing all that area around the eye. I just think they got Michael totally wrong in H2O. I don't think the movie is incompetent or anything like that. I just think it's like, for me, the portrayal of Michael is one of the most important things. Even if he's not in the movie very much, like in Halloween Ends or the original. What's happening, Joel? One of our great channel members, Dark Room Reviews. Hope you're doing well. Happy Friday to you as well. There she is, Nanette's Blood Rose Horror Nightmare, one of our brand new channel members. Welcome on in and happy Friday. A Big Rod says H2O is my ending to my favorite timeline, H1, H2, and H2O. I totally get that. Yeah, if you think about it as just like the Laurie trilogy there, that's a really tight timeline. Like, that timeline makes total sense. It doesn't ask too much of the audience, I think. And yeah, I think that H2O is a well-made enough film. I just wish that it was, I guess, not only do I want Michael to be portrayed a little more accurately, I do want some more kills, guys. And I know in the original there's not a shitload of kills, but it's like, come on, it's 1998. Let's ramp things up a little bit and have some more kills. Not everything needs to be so old school in H2O. But I totally understand why people love the film, even though I'm not a huge fan. There you go. Jonathan says it's middle of the road for me. I think that's probably, yeah. I mean, when it came down to ranking them, I was just like, yeah, I like Curse more. I like H4 more. I like Halloween 3 more. I like all of the David Gordon Green movies more. So it just sort of, even though I don't dislike H2O a lot, it just ended up getting pushed to the back of the line pretty much. Hell yeah, Joel. Lethal Weapon's awesome. That's a really good one. Seed of Chucky was terrible in my opinion. Ooh, I'm going to star that one and we'll come back to that. Let's go through the rest of the Halloween movies that I've got here. Just in case you guys want to chime in on anything. Thought H2O was okay for me. The CGI mask is terrible. Yeah. Soundtrack terrible, but the H6 mask they used should have been the mask to use, not the... Yeah, they used the H6 mask in the opening scene, and that's the best Michael looks in the entire movie. So yeah, guys, let's go ahead. What I'm going to do here, since we just talked about H2O... we got Halloween 5, Revenge of Michael Myers. We kind of talked about this the other night because there's a couple good moments. There's a scene or two I really like in there. But man, Revenge of Michael Myers, I mean, it comes out a year after Return of Michael Myers. They couldn't even reuse the same mask for whatever reason. So for some reason, Michael looks completely different. The longest neck in the mask that we've ever seen. I think that's one of my favorite bits from We Watched a Movie is the dude, tuck in that mask, bro. I hardcore agree with them on that one. I guess I do like a little bit of Loomis's unhinged nature in here, but it's almost like they wrote him that way because Jamie's a mute for most of the movie and there really wasn't much else. So it's almost like Dr. Loomis is, kind of like making up for the fact that there's not really another charismatic performer in this film, and unfortunately they kill off Rachel within the first 20 minutes, maybe 15 minutes of the film. You got that weird, awkward Michael hanging out by the tree as if it's weird. Like the girls are hanging out talking about their plans to get it on later and everything. And it's like, are we made to assume that Michael is eavesdropping on them and that he's actually listening to the conversation? How does he know that these people are tied to Jamie? I don't even know if that really makes any sense. And it just seems like, that meme of John Travolta from Pulp Fiction, just holding his coat and looking around. I get that vibe from Michael in that particular scene where he's hanging out in the tree. or, you know, right beneath the trees, like ducking under branches. It's just so awkward. It doesn't have that intimidating kind of vibe that Michael has like in the original film when he's doing his stalking and everything. So yeah, Halloween 5, Revenge of Michael Myers, to me, not trying to hurt anyone's feelings, but to me, one of the worst horror sequels. I think not even just within the Halloween franchise. I think it's pretty bad, like just altogether, you know. So yeah, let me see here. I just want to catch up with you guys and seeing. Oh, Gavin, how dare you talk about H4 like this? Yeah, I don't know. I you know, got no hate for it, but man, that mask is rough. Yeah, Halloween 5 was a stinker. You got to admit, Halloween 4 has the best fall atmosphere. I would say that Halloween 6, I would say Curse of Michael Myers is right there with Halloween 4 as far as fall atmosphere. Because the opening of the movie, everyone talks about the opening of the movie as if the entirety of Halloween 4 has that feel. Guys, that's just the opening credits. That's all that is. I'm not saying that it's not good and that it doesn't like set a really nice mood, but for the rest of the movie, I don't really feel that much of like a fall vibe from Halloween 4. Honestly, I just think they set the tone with the opening credits. There's a rainy scene when Michael's being transported at the beginning. And then from there on out, it just sort of, yeah, I mean, it looks like it's fall, but there's something about like, I think Curse does the fall atmosphere better because it's like constantly wet. It's just got that kind of dreary look, you know, leaves everywhere. Just, I don't know. It like, to me, when I think about those movies, I think that one's got, you know, probably the best fall atmosphere. And then I would say the David Gordon Green movies have really great fall atmosphere as well. Especially 2018 and Kills. I would say they feel at least just as much like fall as Halloween 4. So sometimes we get caught in this whole thing of like, you know, we hear people say things a lot or whatever. And it just sort of gets like drilled in to where it's like, oh yeah, that opening scene of Halloween 4. But then like, what else is there that really has like that a great of a fall atmosphere? Maybe the shot of like the tow truck, you know, maybe that shot where the ground, I remember the pavement being pretty wet there when they're at the, you know, outside of the drugstore there. Not much else though, really. Anywho, I always appreciate you chiming in though, T Parker. I know you know your shit, man. So I totally respect your opinions and always dig you hanging out in the chat. I feel like, you know, along with so many great people in the chat, you guys really help elevate the discussion here. Because if you guys weren't here, it would just be me talking to a camera all by myself. I wonder where Michael was for 20 years. I mean, he's just hanging out, waiting to find his sister, you know? Let's see here. The original Halloween 2 is one of the worst, in my opinion, says Gavin. That is a hot take, but one that I've been slowly warming up to, Gavin. I don't know if I would say like worst, but man, when I was younger, I really loved the original Halloween 2. I loved how it went straight from the original into the sequel, but the more, like the older I get and the more I watch that movie, there's a lot of scenes where I'm like, fuck, what is going on? This movie is just dragging. Like, what the hell is happening here? So I totally feel you on that one. Happy Friday to you, Nanette. Hope you're doing great. Let's see here. I'm just going to kind of catch up. Oh, hey, we got Jason from Backtrack Cinema. What's happening, Jason? Hey, guys. Jason is going to be on Late Night with the Davey this coming week, so keep an eye out for that. We're going to talk like 80s action movies and just like we're going to jump into some nostalgia since we're a couple of old guys. So I hope you all are ready for some 80s action movie talk. That'll be fun. Oh, Nanette, I'm going to save that comment about Jason X. We will definitely get into that. Yeah, cutting the opening with Dr. Death and switching it with the old man. Really didn't understand that. I think the Dr. Death thing just makes way more sense, especially with, you know, the kind of lore they're trying to build up in Halloween 5. It would have made, I think, the movie a little bit better. I don't think it's would be the kind of scene that would save the movie or anything like that. It certainly would have made our stream from the other night on Late Night with the Davey talking about our the greatest scenes in bad horror movies. It would have made that, but they cut it out. Yeah, least favorite version of the mask. The mask is terrible. I mean, other than the CG Keanu Reeves mask in H2O, yeah. Chester says, I would rather watch H5 a lot over Resurrection. I used to hate H5, but I don't know more. Yeah, it certainly is better than Resurrection, I would say. For me, it's kind of a slim margin, but yeah, Chester, maybe that's going to be one of those movies that I just start warming up to. I do watch it every single year. I mean, I'm a massive Halloween fan, so yeah. Nanette says, I have a hot take. Everybody think that this is horrible for me to say, but I like all of the Chucky movies except for the original Child's Play. Holy cow. Well, we are talking sequels tonight, Nanette, so I don't want to spend too much time on that one since you're talking, the original is your least favorite. I adore the original Child's Play, but if your thing is more of like a brash, jokey Chucky and a little more leaning on like the more ridiculous side of the supernatural, then I totally get it, because the original Child's Play movie is about as grounded as a movie can be when it's about a killer voodoo doll. Jason says H5 is the worst Halloween film for me. There you go. K Dab says 5 grows on me more and more each watch. Sorry. Hey, I think that's awesome. I've got movies like that for me that I just enjoy more and more as I watch them, like Land of the Dead from George Romero. Like, that's a movie that I love more and more every single time I watch it. I'm trying to think of which other ones really stand out. Friday the 13th Part 2 is one of those that I've always liked it, but when I go back and revisit those movies, I like that one more and more, So they definitely, it is cool when a movie can do that. I'm a big rewatcher, so I kind of rely on that sometimes. I think I know what this acronym means. Jared Arnold says, for what it's worth, I do think Don Shanks was a good Michael in H5. If they'd killed off Tina when they killed Rachel and let Rachel live, Halloween 5 is a much better film with just that change. I think it would be a lot better, for sure. Having Rachel just be that protector of Jamie would have added more depth to the film, and it would have brought more stakes to the film as well. And I mean, nothing against Don. It's like Dominic Othen-Gerard wrote a bad movie. He sounds like barely knew how to convey, because English wasn't his first language. So it seems like he had a really tough time trying to convey to that performers what he wanted from them, which is a huge roadblock as well when you're trying to make a film. So yeah, I'm not blaming Don, and he didn't design the mask. I mean, so yeah, the mask, that Tina, I don't even really hate Tina, but just let Rachel live, H5 is good for the 80s nostalgia, but it's full of odd directorial choices. Yeah, it sure is. Holy crap. Yeah, I think Dominic Othen-Gerard's greatest skill was just being able to talk circles around people, I guess. And I always wondered, because it seems like Deborah Hill really pushed for him to direct that movie. So there's part of me that was like, did they have some sort of thing going on? Was she sort of like kind of had a crush on this guy, or I just wonder, there's tons of reasons why somebody would want, to give somebody an opportunity to make a film. But I've just always wondered, did Deborah Hill have a thing for this guy? Wow. Jamie Hart says, I won't watch 4, 5, or 6. Oh my gosh. Jamie, you should watch the producer's cut of 6. That's one of those movies like K-Dabs was saying, Curse of Michael Myers has certainly grown on me the older I've gotten, for sure. The more times I watch it. Yeah. Gavin says, I have a specific memory watching 5 on AMC Fear Fest on a crisp fall morning, eating Pop-Tarts as a kid. So I have a weird nostalgia for it, but it's not good. Well, I think that shows a great awareness of yourself in the situation, Gavin, that you can understand that it's tied more to nostalgia. And I think that's important too. Like, that's another reason why we go back to movies, the comfort that a movie provides, even though, it may not be great. There is something about that. Like, I've certainly got movies that I like to rewatch, even though I know that they're not really that good. It's just, like you say, it's got a weird nostalgia thing for sure. I mean, I don't think Jaws the Revenge is good, but every time I watch it, it reminds me of being a 6-year-old kid, because that's how old I was when the movie came out, and it made me just fall completely in love with sharks and watching all those Jaws movies. So I got a soft spot for that terrible movie. Antona says, I don't like Halloween 5 either, but I don't think it's the worst in the franchise. Yeah. I am the opening credits. I know, guys, very rarely do I really like put my foot down and get all about stuff in here. I try not to be too Dave McRae-ish about it, although, I mean, I love Dave McRae, but I'm not trying to imitate anyone or anything. But seriously, Halloween 4, everyone talks about the fall atmosphere, and I'm just like, what fall atmosphere outside of the opening credit scene? I mean, come on. Score for H5 is great. I'm trying to think of it specifically. I don't think there's any of the movies other than H2O where the score is off to me. I think I appreciate all the scores. Even Resurrection, I think the score is one of the better parts of that movie. The Oct says, I liked in Halloween 5 when Michael was wearing the brute mask pretending to be the other Michael boyfriend dude. Yeah, that is an awesome scene. I do really enjoy that as well. I think there's something, we don't really get many breadcrumbs on like what Michael is really like. The true psychology of Michael, we pretty much just get from what Loomis says, right? So it's just one person's interpretation or opinion of what's going on with Michael. And then everything else is like, we have to observe. And, do we see the same things that Loomis is seeing? Do we see something different? And we combine those two for our opinion on Michael. But that scene in particular that you're talking about, where he's wearing the brute mask, is very interesting, because he doesn't take the opportunity to do anything about it. And you think that, is he allowing Tina to live? Has he not made a move? Not that kind of move, but has he not made a move to harm her because he wants to know where the party's at? But he ends up ditching her and making it to the party anyways. So it is very interesting that he just sits there and kind of bides his time. He allows her to get all close. I think she smooches him and everything like that. And he's just like, gripping the steering wheel, and just like, you can see like the anxiety or like the PTSD. I know a lot of people, when they do their deep dive videos about Michael, talk about that, how like sexuality kind of triggers him. So yeah, that scene in Halloween 5 is very interesting, but it doesn't make me enjoy watching the movie very much. Jamie says, personally, I think Halloween 2 has the best fall atmosphere out of the franchise. The original Halloween 2 or the Rob Zombies version? Because I think the Rob Zombies version's got quite a bit of fall atmosphere as well. Wax Lavish says, I never got sucked into Halloween like I did with Friday the 13th Nightmare, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, or Hellraiser. It is interesting how that happens, right? We all kind of like have our favorite franchise or our own like, internal ranking and everything like that. Yeah, for me, Halloween is a big one. Friday the 13th is right there, though. I love Friday the 13th. And then, yeah, Nightmare and TCM and Hellraiser. Like, I love the first Hellraiser a whole bunch. That's the one that stands out to me the most. But it is interesting how certain franchises, it's kind of like music, It's like certain things just sort of resonate with us and other things don't. Ooh, we are going to talk about that one, Ashton. I am going to star that. And we will talk about it here in a bit. Tom Ungurian, what's happening, Tom? I see you all over the place. This is so awesome that you're hanging out in the chat. Welcome. You are kicking it with the Death Squad. I hope you're doing well today. Tom says, H5 is my shit. The barn scene and Michael stabbing the vent with Jamie stuck in it scared the shit out of me when I was a kid, and the score was fire. Yeah, Tom, the other night when we did on Late Night with the Davey, we talked about great scenes in horrible movies, and Halloween 5 got brought up. I had mentioned the barn scene. I do quite enjoy that scene, and I can't remember who it was. Somebody else had brought up the vent scene, which is, yeah, really high tension kind of stuff right there. Yeah. H4 is definitely more fall-like than the palm trees in the original. That's true. That's very true. Jason says, Davey is speaking the truth. H4 is okay, but I never found it great. There you go. Boom. It has been confirmed. Yeah, I do really like the hospital setting there. And I do gotta say, having it go right from the first movie to the second movie, I love that a lot. I think there's just some of those walking scenes that as I get older, I'm just like, oh my gosh, what's with the walking? Let's see here. Medley Man brings up Zombie 4. We will talk about that. We've been harping on Halloween 5 for a bit, and I know you guys are talking some of the other ones. Let's see here. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Holy cow, we got Eli Cortez in the house, one of our great channel members and Death Squad mods. Hope you're doing well, Eli. Let's see here. Just saw Talk to Me finally. Not that bad of a movie. I still need to see that one. Yes, it's true. I have not seen Talk to Me yet. So sue me. Adrian Phillips, one of our great channel members, says Exorcist II. The Heretic. Yes, let's talk about that one. Brad Underwood following it right up. Hi, Davey. Hope all is well. The worst horror sequel of all time is Exorcist II. Okay. So what I want to do here. Jordan Decker. What's happening, Jordan? Hope you're doing well, my guy. Says, what's up, Davey in chat? Worst horror sequel for me, RZH2. Also, American Psycho 2. Yeah, you're not the first one to bring up American Psycho 2 here, Jordan. Let's talk RZH2, though. And Jordan, of course, is one of our amazing channel members, so got to give him some extra love. Let's jump on over to, really quick, Curse of Michael Myers. I really like this movie. It's so far from perfect. I had to put it in here because it popped up on a lot of lists of worst horror movie sequels. We'll move on, but let me know, guys. How do you feel about Curse of Michael Myers? Do you think it's one of the worst horror movie sequels? Do you think it's just okay? Let me know, but really quick, I do want to jump on over to Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 because this is a movie that I very much enjoy. I defer to watching the director's cut, even though I don't like the end as much as the theatrical version. I just love the portrayal of Laurie here, honestly. Like, I like the broken, high PTSD version of Laurie that we get. I think Scout's performance is absolutely amazing in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, but we're talking worst horror sequels, so I kind of want to give you guys the floor on this one because I really enjoy this movie. So Jordan, I need to know from you. I mean, you say it's the worst horror sequel for you, but why? Can you give me the why? Can you give me just a few bullet points? Things that, like, no matter how much you try to love this movie or give it another chance, it just keeps on letting you down. I want to give you guys the floor. So those of you in the chat who do not like Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, let me know. Let me know. Real quick, Medley Man says, I rewatched Evil Dead, and I'm absolutely doubling down that the movie is not that great. Well, I disagree, and I would talk about it more, but we're talking worst sequels, not worst originals. Although, maybe is that a topic? Is there much juice in that fruit to squeeze out? Like, first entries in a franchise that aren't that great? I don't know. That's one that I've never seen. That one, Mistress of the Dark. I love the character Elvira, but I've never seen that movie. I heard it's hilarious, though. Antonis says, I think the worst in the franchise is Halloween Resurrection. I'm right there with you. Let's see if we have anybody else new joining us or if Jordan has chimed in. Wow, you guys are so active in the chat. Guys, please make sure, if you're just joining us now, to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, participate in the poll if you haven't done that. Right now we have 37 votes in the poll. That's awesome. And holy cow, guys, we have a lead change. So the question in the poll is, which horror movie franchise do you most want to see make a return to the big screen? And we've got a lead change with Friday the 13th taking over with 42% of the vote, supplanting A Nightmare on Elm Street, which has 39% of the vote, Texas Chainsaw Massacre sitting there at 11%, and Child's Play going from 0 to 8%. So the little engine that could at least not be a total 0%. 39 votes, and now it's 44% Friday the 13th, 38% Nightmare. Holy cow, the gap. We've seen that lead change, and now the gap is growing. So yeah, guys, make sure to participate in that poll if you haven't already. And I'm going to see what you guys are saying. This is, I must say, I'm impressed with how awesome you guys are being in the chat, because I can't even keep up. We're talking so much. This is amazing. So let me see if I can find Jordan's response here. Jordan, please give me a proper response. Melanie says, I think Rob Zombie's Michael is the creepiest version of Michael, the scariest also. I dig. I don't like his remake very much. There's a couple moments in there that I really enjoy, but I love Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I would say, the Rob Zombie original, or his first film, that's at the back end of the franchise for me, for sure. But yeah, Michael is absolutely brutal, for sure. Jordan says, I put Curse in the upper echelon of the Halloween sequels. It has some great, scary moments. Yes, and it has awesome fall atmosphere, which nobody seems to want to talk about. They just want to talk H4 all damn day. Eli says, Curse is fun. I'd rather watch that than the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. Well, yeah. Yeah, me too. I'm not a big fan of that Nightmare on Elm Street remake. I'd rather watch H2 over Rob Zombie's original. There you go. It is odd that because I said it is Rob Zombie's original, even though it's not like the original film, but it's like, that's kind of how I think about that. K-Dab says, I'll watch it every Halloween, but it's not my favorite. I don't need to see RZH2 though, if that says something. Oh, with Curse, you watch Curse every Halloween? Yeah. Hey, I would say, K-Dabs, if it's been a while since you've seen RZH2, Nick from the Lost River Drive-In, myself, and Lee from Drum Dums, we did a stream back in August to celebrate 15 years of Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, and you can check that out over on the Drum Dums channel. A fantastic channel. I would imagine you may be a subscriber already, because Lee's been doing this for friggin' ever and killing it. But we do put together, I think, a pretty good argument of why Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 is, still kind of underappreciated. So if you're ever like thinking maybe you'll give it another chance, maybe if you watch our stream beforehand, we can sort of just like give you our perspective on it. Maybe it would kind of, give you just a different lens to watch the movie through, for sure. Nanette says, Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers is not great, but I like it. All right. Yeah. I think, again, it gets better and better every time I watch it. We got Jade in the house. Welcome on in, Jade. I think this might be your first time. You're kicking it with the Death Squad. Everybody make Jade feel very welcome. She says, Rob Zombie's first Halloween is the only Halloween movie I like. Whoa, the sequel is awful. I agree. Well, Jade, so tell me what it is about the sequel that you don't like. I here on the channel, I welcome all sorts of different kinds of opinions, of course. I'm never going to tell you you're wrong for your opinion. I may say I disagree or whatever, but to me, what's really fascinating is not just knowing, what the opinion is, but why you feel that way. Because what I like to do is, the next time I experience this movie, or, even go back to Rob Zombie's first Halloween film, just to be able to sort of like have your perspective and know a little bit more, just have more meat on the bone for why you like or don't like something. So please feel free to let me know, Jade, in the chat, what about Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 you do not like. We got Trisha McMasters, one of our great Patreon members, channel members, and Death Squad mods. How are you doing, Trisha? Looks like you've had a really exciting week. One of your daughters is celebrating her 15th birthday today. Is that correct? That's pretty awesome. Hope you're having a great Friday so far, Trish. Wax Lavish says Alien 2 is touted as being superior to the original. Yeah, and I don't think it is. But I do have an Alien movie on my list. I'm still waiting for... Boom, here we go. All right. So real quick, just in defense of, Adrian says RZH2 is better than RZH1 for creativity, but it kind of takes a shit on the character of Michael. Feels insensitive with their handling of Danielle Harris too. Well, I think they handle, I think Annie, the Annie Laurie dynamic, especially in the director's cut, is amazing to me. And I think like pretty realistic that experience that those people went through, you see the two different kind of paths that you can go on, the destructive path or like the healing path, and how it, becomes a stake that's driven between those two characters. And I mean, Annie survived the first movie. She doesn't survive the original Halloween from 1978. So, you figure that maybe it's on the table in the sequel that she would pass away. And I don't think it's insensitive. Like, I actually think it's a great performance from Scout when she finds her. And then, of course, Brad Dourif having his breakdown when he finds Annie. I mean, I could talk about it forever, but it's just one of those things that everyone always talks about. So I really like those aspects. But let's see what Jordan has to say, because he was the one that was like, this thing's the worst. He says the half mask, the hobo look, Laurie being goth punk, Michael talking. Okay, so I will give you this. I don't mind the half mask because like literally it was blown off from the first movie, so it's just continuity, but I get what you're saying. Like I almost like, it's almost like he didn't need the mask in this one, but I do think what's cool about the mask in RZH2 is that like he puts it on when it's time to get to business. I kind of like that. It's like Superman putting on his outfit. The hobo look, yeah, I mean, he doesn't need to look like completely dirty. Laurie being goth punk, I think it kind of makes sense, but Michael talking, not a fan of Michael talking. I don't want to ever hear that guy talk. Loomis's portrayal as a total dick, yeah. That's one of those ones I could totally go either way on, for sure, Jordan. Like, I do like the way that in the original timeline that Loomis is always a respectable character, even when he's shouting at Jamie in Halloween 5. But also I think they're trying to do something that's like a little more modern, like that you see these like celebrity doctors like Dr. Oz and Dr. Phil, and like you just get this idea that they're in it for the celebrity and not necessarily like the altruism. So I think that that's what they're going for, but I totally get it. I think it would have been interesting if we did, just to know what it would be like if Loomis kept on being the empathetic character that he was. And the white pony, I mean, to me, they look at that Rorschach on the therapist's wall. To me, that's like the white pony is just, it's the Rorschach for the audience. Like, we attribute whatever to the white pony. But again, it's something that's just sort of like, it's just kind of there. I don't even think Rob Zombie knew what the hell the white pony meant. So I'm certainly attributing my own meaning to it, to be fair. So yeah, I mean, I can totally see what you're saying, Jordan. It is kind of a dreamy, surreal. It's almost like a Dario Argento, like Italian kind of surrealistic version of Halloween for sure. But thank you so much for telling me why. I love knowing why. I think that's the important thing for me. Yes, I think Child's Play deserves better too. Let's go back to Chucky actually being scary and being a little bit funny. It's like Freddy Krueger. Can we just go back to being like 70-30 on the scary to funny scale? I think I would appreciate that. I like H6 more. I don't try to think too deeply about the storyline. Lots of great moments. John Strode's death was epic. Yeah, especially in that theatrical cut for sure. Let's see here. What else do we got going on? Nanette says, I like Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, and the reason I liked it so much is Sheriff Brackett and Lindsay. I just think Brad and Danielle did a great job in that movie, and I felt for Laurie in the movie. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that one. Let's see here. Yes, Vanna, thank you so much for kicking it with us. Hope you have a great rest of your night, and we'll get you on Late Night with the Davey here within the coming weeks. Let's see here. What else am I missing? There you go. Give me a new Nightmare on Elm Street. Just sub Jackie for Dave McRae. That would be amazing. The Oct says RZH2 is my least favorite in the franchise. I hate heel Loomis. Michael's face is the most exposed. And Michael talks. Unforgivable. Yes. Gosh, I really don't like Michael saying die. But that's just in the director's cut, right? Can you guys confirm that? I think in the theatrical cut, I don't think he says anything, does he? I guess it's been a while since I've seen the theatrical cut because I just prefer that director's cut of the film. Jade says Kyle Gallner having an amazing career after starring in that A Nightmare on Elm Street remake is amazing. Truly a bounce back. Yeah, and you know, he was in The Haunting in Connecticut, I think, before that, right? That was when he was just a few years before. I mean, he's like a kid in that movie. And I don't think he's like terrible in the A Nightmare on Elm Street remake, but I do think that movie is terrible. But yeah, Kyle Gallner's awesome. I felt like he was totally wasted in Scream 5. I loved him in Strange Darling. He's really good in Jennifer's Body. I'll take all the Kyle Gallner you got. Like, he could be in... I'd watch him in anything, for sure. Let's see here. Trisha says all the Hellraiser sequels need help. Such potential. Yeah, I think the second one is like okay. I had a lot of fun with the third one, but it's so, those two are so far away from the feel of the original. You know, I think to me the original is easily the best out of that franchise. And then yeah, after the third movie, I said this earlier, Trisha, because yeah, we are talking worst horror movie sequels. I haven't even watched any of the Hellraiser movies after the third one because I've heard such terrible things about them. So I've just avoided them like the friggin' plague. So, and I don't know if anybody answered it and I just missed it. Is Revelations the one where they had replaced Doug Bradley? Was that the first one without him? Because there's one that's got like where they like go back in time. Adam Scott is in it, or they like show us like Victorian era. I get so confused with the Hellraiser movies probably because I haven't seen all of them. Wow, man, 15 years. RZH2 is the only Halloween movie I've seen in theaters, and I'll give it another shot one day, but I've seen it last Halloween season, so it'll be a little while. No worries. Yeah, let's go ahead and jump into another film, but really quick, Jade says it's my first time tuning in. Well, thank you so much for kicking it with us, Jade. I hope you're having a great time and you want to hit that subscribe button. She also says thank you for all being so welcoming. I'm actually K-Dav's girlfriend. All right. I got way too intrigued watching on his screen, so I joined in as well. Hell yeah. That's too cool. A couple hanging out in the chat. You guys, is this the first time that people have kind of been on a date in the chat? I love it. I love it. What's happening, Ryan Olashow? Hope you are doing well. What's your least favorite horror movie sequel, or maybe even a handful of them? Let me know. Let's see here. Just jumping in on... Oh, there he is. Matt Facci from Facci Cinema. What's happening, Matt? I was letting everybody know about our epic return of Start Bench cut. And over on Matt's channel, he's currently working through all the Final Destination films, doing watch parties with other content creators. Matt, I checked out your Final Destination 3 just last night. That was a lot of fun. Love Matt from Matt Blood. So hanging out with the two Matts, always a blast. Okay, guys, let's move on from Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 because we'll probably be stuck here all night if I just keep on harping on it. But we have Leanna Bevy Rage in the house, one of our great channel members and Death Squad mods. How are you doing, Leanna? Hope you're having a great Friday and that the work week wasn't too rough on you. Yeah, let me know some of your worst horror movie sequels. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Where are we? He's definitely not terrible in A Nightmare on Elm Street. I just thought it was going to end his career. Yeah. Yeah, that movie is pretty rough. It's a pretty rough one. Ooh, Gavin says Hellraiser 3 is a masterpiece. Where were you last week when we were talking best horror sequels? Maybe you were here. Jordan's always on a solo date when watching the channel. There it is. Cool, guys. Let's go ahead and move on from Halloween, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. But let's put this one on the table really quick before we move on from the Halloween franchise, because I know you guys got some stuff to say about Resurrection. First off, is there anyone in the house that is a Resurrection defender? I'd be curious to know. We kind of chatted about this one the other night because there's a moment or two in there that I really enjoyed. Really just the Peeping Tom homage. I dig that kill. But I mean, man, Busta Rhymes isn't even like bad in this movie, but some of the things they have his character do kind of odd. However, Tyra Banks is in this movie. She is completely unnecessary. This is a totally unnecessary character. We don't even get to see the kill. It's just like they were trying to, I don't know. Are they just trying to appeal to a different kind of audience to get people to put their butts in the seat just because Tyra Banks is in the film? She is a charisma vacuum in that film. Katie Sackhoff, I do like her in this movie. I think this movie's got one of the worst final girls in the franchise, for sure. Not a fan of, I don't even know the actress's name. I'm like struggling to even remember the character's name because that's how weak of a final girl we've got. The Myers mask has its moments here when it's obscured, depending on the lighting, but when it's well lit, it looks really, really weird. Like the eyebrows are so like pronounced. There's a lot of what I love about the original Michael mask is that it's not really, it's like asymmetrical, and like every time you put it in a different kind of light, it looks different. Whereas the mask in Halloween Resurrection is like, has so much definition and so much character to it that it really doesn't reach that uncanny valley kind of creep factor. Like, but there are a couple shots where it looks okay, but really not that great of a mask. I do enjoy the music here in Halloween Resurrection. I applaud them for the whole like first person GoPro before GoPro days. I applaud them for trying that out. However, I don't think it really makes for that interesting of a movie, unfortunately. And yeah, Halloween Resurrection, it's pretty tough. I mean, having Busta dress as Michael Myers and like punk him and have Michael Myers just be like, okay, and walk away. One of the biggest question marks, I think, in the franchise. And juxtapose that to the scene in Halloween 5, which again, I don't like Halloween 5 very much, but that scene where he's wearing the brute mask and he's interacting with Tina in the car, that's got tension. That scene is interesting. What's Michael thinking? Why isn't Michael trying to, you know, end Tina right now? Like, what is he waiting for? Like, those are all like interesting questions that are things that pop up that I find interesting in that scene. And then juxtapose that with Halloween Resurrection, where Busta Rhymes is like, I'm Michael Myers, and like just makes him look like a punk bitch, and Michael takes it. Halloween Resurrection, so fucking bad. Let's see what you guys have to say. All right. Seems like they're all, the comments are flooding in. Let me just try to get back to the beginning here. In my headcanon, Resurrection doesn't exist. Boom. Trisha just dropping the atomic bomb there. Tyra Banks, Resurrection sucks butt. There you go. Let's see here. K-Dab says, before I lurk, I gotta defend Resurrection, man. It was sadly the first one I'd seen, and I absolutely loved it as a kid. While I love it less now, I still defend it and enjoy it. What is it about Resurrection? What about Resurrection do you still enjoy? Do you find like the more that you watch it, it's really just the nostalgia? I mean, I watch all of these movies at least once a year, guys, just because I'm talking shit. In fact, I can talk shit because I do put myself through a lot of these movies multiple times. It's not just going off a vague memory or something that another content creator says. I live this shit. I live Halloween Resurrection, and maybe a couple times a year, once with the commentary, once without. So I'm curious to know, K-Dabs, like, what is it at this point? Is it purely nostalgia for you, or is there some other meat on that bone when you watch Resurrection that you still find yourself being able to defend? Jamie says, I don't like Tyra Banks, but I still have a blast with Resurrection. So this is the same Jamie Hart that won't watch Halloween 4, 5, or Curse. You gotta give Curse another shot, Jamie. Producer's cut. Producer's cut. But yeah, that's the thing about this movie too. Being able to have a blast with a movie and the movie being good can be two totally different things. I think Resurrection is kind of a blast because it's so like, I mean, you're not taking it seriously. In a way, it's kind of like the movie knows what it is. Like you've got Tyra Banks like shaking her booty, making her espresso drinks, and Busta Rhymes doing his kung fu and talking to himself in the motel when someone knocks on his door. Just all that kind of fun stuff. So I guess I can understand that you have a blast with it. I still think it is the worst in the franchise. There it is. Let's see here. Eli says, I don't mind Resurrection. Busta fighting Michael is hilarious. Hey, Mikey, happy fucking Halloween. It's pretty good. Pretty good stuff. Oh, yeah, Bianca Kalich. Okay, that's the actress's name, right? Yeah, doesn't really do anything for me here. I don't think, I think she's a good enough looking gal. No charisma, really. Yeah, it doesn't really seem to have that final girl energy. Like, who lost out on the audition? Who did she beat? There had to have been another option. Medley Man says Resurrection is a useless movie. There you go. Surprised they didn't get Busta to say break your neck, fool, when he roundhouses Michael. They cut a scene where Tyra Banks dies on screen due to bad acting. Well, then they should have cut the entire performance. There we go. Katie Sackhoff has gone on to do better things despite being a Brittany Murphy ripoff in Resurrection. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was probably the Rick Rosenthal direction too. Like, we just want you to act like Brittany Murphy from Clueless, pretty much. Yeah. Jared says, I saw Resurrection in the theater. I was in high school when it came out. First Halloween film I saw in the theater. Yay me. Oh, yeah. Let's see what else you guys got. Nanette says, I love Halloween Resurrection. I understand that it's not that good of a movie for Halloween lovers, but I just find it so hilarious. Oh, you're totally fine. Yeah, it's okay to be drunk, too. I'm not, but I still probably would have misspelled it. Leanna says Resurrection tapped into the reality TV craze at the time. It dated itself, but it's a moment. Yeah, I do think, yeah, I do applaud them for that, for sure. It's just one of those things. I don't know if it's really executed so well here. But yeah, it's one of those things where, now that's kind of could be used in a movie again, in this day and age. I mean, they kind of even did, like, I watched that Stream movie, which, it was really rough. It kind of taps into that, but in the whole video game side of things and everything like that. And then, I mean, even though it's not a reality TV thing, like the Saw movies all have like that, camera setups, Jigsaw being able to like watch everybody and everything like that. Not to say that Michael's watching anybody in this. Really, it's just the people. I think it's just the kids at the Halloween party. They might be the only ones watching Dangertainment that night. But it is interesting that we never got like, has there ever been like even a comic book follow-up to this? Because you'd think like, even though Freddy is very like dismissive at the end of the movie, you'd figure that this whole Michael Myers fiasco would actually bring him like a whole bunch of attention. So, going back to like the Loomis being a heel in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, what if, guys, just imagine if there were a sequel to Halloween Resurrection and Freddy from Dangertainment is sort of like a celebrity, and kind of like lost his way. He's even more so, he's just to the nth degree the character he is in Resurrection. And Michael comes, chicken fried motherfucker comes looking for him. Chester says, I can't stand Resurrection. Michael listening to Busta. I didn't like that at all. Drop kicking him. Yeah, I'm not a fan either. I loathe Resurrection, says Big Rod. It's basically Scary Movie trying to be serious, and the retcon to H2O is sacrilege. Yeah, the retcon of H2O, I didn't even mention that. That is, it just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. The the person could have like taken the mask off and shown their face. And then it extra doesn't make sense that like Michael at the beginning of Resurrection knows that happened. So when Laurie has him like all strung up on the rope, he's like miming towards his neck or what. It's so bizarre. Is Michael reading the news? Is that what we're meant to believe there? I have no idea. The Oct says, I love Resurrection. It's hilarious. Michael Myers is a killer shark in baggy ass overalls. The best part to me is when Michael kills Laurie. It's the only part that isn't torn down by the plot twist. Yeah, it's weird though. She kisses him and everything. Yeah. Adrian says Resurrection literally had zero thought. How did they expect to make a profit from this? You see 15 kids flocking to one screen, so it's literally not a financially viable plan. We got Dominic St. Clair in the chat. What's happening? Dominic says, Resurrection is so fun. I enjoy Busta Rhymes. The kills, the goofiness is all around fun. Yeah, I can see, like Jamie was saying, she has a blast with this one. So I can totally understand that. Here she is. I think it's hilarious when Busta tells Michael to get. It's a psychology joke and a parody of Ginny and Friday 2. Is it? Wow, I never thought of that, Jamie. I never made that connection. Because I always thought too that like, so Jason is obviously, he has a physical deformity. I always figured there was something else going on with Jason too, that there was like a developmental disability also. But with Michael, I always thought of Michael as being, highly intelligent and just pure evil in human form. So it is fun. I never thought of that before. A psychology joke that's a reference to Friday the 13th Part 2. Interesting. Well, that's going to give me a totally new way of looking at that the next time. I figured it would have been funny if Michael had just kicked the shit out of him at that moment. That would have been great. You could still bring him back. You could still bring Freddy back. He gets stabbed or something. He gets stabbed in a spot that's not lethal. I don't know. Let's see here. Ooh, there we go. KDAV says it's definitely a nostalgic thing, but I still find it campy and enjoyable, though. Fun to put on, kick back, smoke some weed, and laugh at it. Well, there you go. All right, you guys make some good points here. I like to watch Resurrection when I'm sick. It's a comfort movie for me. Well, there you go. Hellraiser Hellworld is better than Resurrection, says Gavin. The Oct likes the scene where Busta's talking shit to Michael. I have a unique interpretation of what's going through Michael's head in that moment. What is going through his head in that moment? I'd rather have a colonoscopy without anesthesia than watch Resurrection. And then Leanna. Jordan Deckard? God, Leanna's got the best jokes in the chat. That is some nerdy shit. I bet I would venture to say that Leanna would be great at doing like a mystery science theater of a bad movie. Always got the quick wit, some really good dad level jokes, and then some legit like just hilarious jokes that aren't dad level. I do like some dad jokes, don't get me wrong. With this one, Jordan Deckard, that is pitch perfect there, Leanna. All right, let's go ahead and move on from Halloween Resurrection. We've been talking about Halloween pretty much for an hour and 15 minutes. Okay, guys. Maybe this is a hot take. We're going to jump to another favorite franchise of all of ours. Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood. Now, before you hang me up by my Buster Browns, I think this movie would be so awesome if the MPAA did not cut the gore. This movie's got so many good things working for it. The look of Jason is amazing. Tina with the telekinesis is awesome. You got a lot of good boobs here as well. I dig that. Bad News Cruise. Awesome villain character within the Friday the 13th franchise. But this movie just feels so neutered, like the gore being taken out of this movie feels like, and it's not the movie's fault. It's not John Carl Buechler's fault or anyone that made the movie. It's not their fault. But there is something about this one where this is another franchise where I watch these movies at least once a year. I sort of dread when the time comes to put this movie on, because I know that I'm not going to get the money shot on any of the kills. And not only that, but, and I think it still is Harry Manfredini doing the score here, but again, just like in Jason Goes to Hell, whatever they're doing in that opening during the credits sequence, like the theme during the credits just drives me absolutely crazy. I do think that this has one of the best like third acts in Friday the 13th, especially in these later sequels, but this is like the beginning of the end for the franchise for me, unfortunately. And while I loved this movie when I was a kid, because I saw these movies originally on television for the first time, so I mean, it's basically edited for television anyways, other than the nudity and some bad language. I loved this movie when I was a kid because I love the way that Jason looks. It's probably Kane's best performance as Jason, but I do think that, to me, it slides in the back of the franchise, at least within the Friday the 13th franchise. I do think it is one of the lesser sequels, and I know I'm going to get a lot of blowback on that one. Maybe I've lost some of you guys. Maybe you'll hate me, but I want to like this movie so much more. I really wish we could get a restored cut. I really wish that footage of the like the original footage of the kills wasn't lost, because we basically just have like VHS footage that I don't think they're ever going to be able to like mark up the grade to where they could actually put it together in a cut that would look seamless or consistent. So unfortunately, I think this one suffers so much because of that. But I want to know what you guys have to say about Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood. Let's see what we got. Dude, Home Alone is not a prequel to Saw. That's just a silly theory. Oh, yeah. There you go. Home Alone, a.k.a. Saw Zero. That would be funny if they you know, remarketed Home Alone as Saw Zero. Gavin says, is Michael high IQ or just a good listener? The people who don't talk are the best observers. True. Jordan says when Busta punks Michael, he tells him that Nora is in the garage. I think Michael just saw her as a quick and easy kill. Tyra Banks is in this movie? How high of an IQ if he's eating dogs? I don't know. Maybe they just got a good flavor. Maybe he likes the stringy meat. Boom! Antona says The New Blood is actually my favorite in the Friday the 13th franchise, but I respect your opinion. Adrian says Fry gay. Yeah, I do think there are a couple gay performers there. Although wasn't that part 2 as well? I think they had a few. I think, is it on part 2? I think on one of the behind the scenes things they said that they like quietly called it Fry gay the 13th. Like the actors called it that themselves amongst each other. I think it's good to have a sense of humor about those things for sure. Gavin says Friday Part 7 is underrated. I won't defend it like I do 5, but I will defend. Yeah, and again, if the kills were represented truly in this movie, I would never have put it on this list. But I do, like I said, guys, every time I go to watch this movie, I'm like, oh, it's the one I loved as a kid, but just doesn't really come through on the kills, unfortunately. Louis Tango says Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday, pretty bad. The lack of Jason. Oh, we will talk about that one for sure. Neutered. There we go. Friday the 13th. There is a special feature, but it's like really dark footage. It's like taken off of VHS. They would never be able to integrate that with the regular film. Well, there we go. All right, Trisha totally is picking up what I'm putting down. Yeah. Shot in Alabama. Yeah, I think I remember that from the commentary. T. Parker says Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood is as if Blue Balls was a movie. The lack of on-screen kills is a sin to horror. Yeah, and unfortunately, they just didn't. If Friday the 13th Part 7 came out now, they would have saved all that footage. They would have done like the unrated cut on Blu-ray and everything like that. I mean, shit, even if Friday the 13th Part 7 came out 20 years ago, we would have gotten the full cut when it came out on home video. So it's such a shame that this came out right in that time where, you know, they just weren't keeping that footage. They didn't know that we were going to pour over these movies with a fine-tooth comb, and that they would be box set Blu-ray high definition releases and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it is the blue balls of the franchise for sure. Jason Eats Neuters, Chinatown, Part 13. Kick me out of the chat right now. You'll have to do much worse than that to get kicked out there, Gavin. I think you're too nice of a guy to really say the terrible things you'd have to say. Manny's Manic Media, welcome into the chat. One of our great channel members says, I wonder if AI can finish the scenes for us. You know, as I was talking about the VHS quality, maybe. It's been a while since I've watched that special feature on the Blu-ray, so I can't really remember like how bad that quality is. I think they could clean it up a little bit, but could they make it truly look like it matches the, you know, final cut of the film? I don't know. I mean, I guess I'd give it a watch just to see. Chester says, I love Friday Part 7. It introduces us to Kane Hodder as Jason. Tina reminds me a little bit of Drew Barrymore from Firestarter 84. Yeah, with the powers against Jason. Yeah, she's kind of got that Carrie, you know, they wanted to do like a Carrie versus, yeah, that's kind of how they pitched it, Carrie versus Jason. And I think this was one of the first times as well that before they made this movie, they were trying to do a Freddy versus Jason. So I think that's where the idea, it was sort of like they couldn't line everything up to do Freddy versus Jason. So they're like, well, we want to have Jason fight have some sort of worthy adversary. So they ended up going that kind of Carrie route. Or Jean Grey, if you're an X-Men fan. Just need to wet my whistle, guys. Don't mind me. Jamie Hart says, I don't hate Friday 7, but against the others, it's not high in my ranking. Yeah. Jordan says, the New Blood has some good stuff, in my opinion. Jason was the tits, and the tits were also the tits. Of course, the whole telepathy thing was a bit dumb. It still worked, though. Yeah, I thought they did a pretty good, like, again, when I was a little kid watching this movie, I just thought it was so cool that there was, like, an X-Men type superpower. But yeah, the older you get, you're like, oh, this is when stuff starts to get a little silly in this franchise. And we're talking about silly within a franchise where you have a living dead revenant who's come back from the dead multiple times already at this point in the series. Part 7 is top 5 for me, says Chester. Paula says it was okay. I love Dr. Wolfula. Oh my god, Dr. Wolfula, so much fun. If you guys don't sub to that channel, I highly recommend it. Really enjoy the content for sure. Yeah, I'd love to do something with the doc. But the doc is probably a bit too big time for me. Let's see here. Whenever we have a Friday the 13th, I pop in Part 7. There you go. Yeah, you know, no hate for it. Again, guys, I don't hate it. I had to put it on this list because this to me is when the series starts to kind of go off the rails. So I wanted to know what you guys thought about this one. So yeah, we got Jared saying Look of Jason is great, and of course Kane Hodder's debut. Third act was great, but it's a chore getting there. They run through the woods a lot. Yes, guys, and another thing too about it being in that Alabama setting, doesn't look like Crystal Lake at all. Like the body of water is cool, that looks fine, but when they're out in the woods, it's all these like, I don't know, just these trees that don't look like the, you know, Northeast at all. Like you can tell that they shot it somewhere that's not like a real forest. It just has this off look. Yeah. Eli Cortez wants me to start bench cut Night of the Living Dead, Return of the Living Dead, Day of the Dead. I am going to start Day of the Dead. It's my favorite zombie movie of all time. I am going to bench Return of the Living Dead, and I'll cut Night of the Living Dead. But that's kind of a tough one between those two. Let's see here. I really have no opinion of AI. I hear you. But if they could do it, if they could put the kills back in Friday the 13th Part 7, I would do it for sure. Start Return, bench Day, and cut Night. All right. Start Day of the Dead, bench Return, cut Night. All right. Louis says, I didn't like the scene where Tina's father comes up like nothing ever happened and takes Jason down to the water. Yeah, they originally wanted him to be all gunked up and everything. It's kind of a famous story that I think they talk about it on the commentary, where one of the producers really didn't like the way the makeup looked, or didn't like the idea of the father looking like a zombie or whatever. So they changed that, unfortunately. Jared says, I am from Alabama and have been where they shot it. It was right outside of Mobile, down on the coast. Not exactly Jersey. Yeah. Thank you so much for kicking it with us, Melanie. Really appreciate you. Shoot, we have not talked about Blair Witch. If you can hang out for another few minutes, Melanie, we can talk Book of Shadows. I know we had mentioned it briefly, but if you can hang out for a little bit longer, we can jump right to that one. Just let me know if you can kick it for a little bit longer. I honestly never thought Friday the 13th really had good kills in comparison to other movies, so I never really cared about it being cut down so much. I always loved the decaying Jason makeup more. Yeah, that makeup's amazing. But Jason uses all these interesting tools in this movie, but we never really get to see any of the fun part of it. All right, cool. Melanie's going to hang out. Guys, we'll get back to Friday the 13th. But let's jump on over to Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2. This was one that Melanie had suggested on the YouTube post. So thank you so much, Melanie, for doing that. Melanie from Screen Queen Reviews, if you haven't subbed already. Ashton says, you don't want my opinion on Blair Witch. I'll get in trouble. Yeah, so guys, I saw this movie in the theater. The lead actor in it, the guy from, I think he was in Burn Notice, is what I really recognize him from within the last 15, 20 years or so. I remember this movie. So on the one hand, obviously they weren't just going to go straight up found footage again. So they had to do something a little bit different. But this movie almost seems like one of those flicks that was written already, and they just decided to sort of turn it into a Blair Witch movie, even though it really wasn't. That wasn't the genesis of the story. So I remember they kind of have this wild party sort of is it an orgy kind of thing that they have out in the woods or whatever? And I think they do have some little camcorders running or whatever. But then they wake up the next day, half of everyone's dead or whatever, and they're trying to figure out what the heck's going on. And if I remember correctly, there is a twist at the end of the movie where the main guy, the guy from Burn Notice, I think the actor's name is Jeffrey something, I can't remember right now, and I'm not going to check IMDb. Maybe I will check IMDb. Let's see here. But yeah, basically almost they were possessed. He was possessed by Jeffrey Donovan. He was possessed by the witch or something and committed this act against everybody. So it says a group of tourists arrives in Burkittsville, Maryland after seeing the Blair Witch Project to explore the mythology and phenomenon, only to come face to face with their own neuroses and possibly the witch herself. Yeah, I remember thinking it was cool that this one, just took chances and everything. But then when I saw it again, because I saw this movie in the theater, and then when I saw it on DVD, I was just like, what the hell is this friggin' movie doing? So I want to see what you guys say about it, because boom, we've got Jamie Hart saying, I just rewatched Book of Shadows last week. I think it's underrated. So maybe I need to give this one another shot. Because yeah, like I said, when I first saw it in the theater, I dug it, but 4.0 out of 10 on IMDb. That is damning. Jordan says Book of Shadows underrated. I rewatched it for the first time since it came out last year and actually kind of liked it. Certainly not an amazing film, but the setting really made it for me. Melanie says, I know a lot of people like it. I just personally did not. Let's see here. I call him the guy with the face. No one knows his name. Jeffrey Donovan. There it is. Book of Shadows was a victim of aggressive studio interference. Okay, so maybe I need to watch a deep dive on that, Jamie. Let me see here. Jared Arnold says Blair Witch 2 was shot and reshot, changed, butchered to hell. I think there is a good movie in there somewhere. Would love to see the original cut of it. Ooh. And Jordan could go for a good in the woods orgy right about now. Hey, who couldn't, right? Adrian Phillips says, hot take, I prefer Book of Shadows. I do not like the original. I also don't like the sequel. Oh, like was it a remake or something that they just did? It's like, I Know What You Did Last Summer. If you tried to make something serious, and then did it accidentally get cut off there, Adrian? I'm not sure if it got cut off. Eli says, I like Book of Shadows. It was an interesting take on technology betraying us. I don't want to spoil anything, but there are more than one bad guy / girl in Book of Shadows. Okay. See, it's been so long. When did this movie come out? 2000. So I saw it my senior year of high school and probably I probably watched it for the second time like the next year on VHS or something like that. So maybe I do need to jump back into this one. I'm curious. You guys have got a lot of glowing reviews here during this stream where we're supposed to be talking about bad horror sequels, but here we are with our I think this might be the very first one of the night that's like, whoa. You know, we need to rewrite the book on Book of Shadows, so to speak. Take care, Chester. Hope you have a great rest of your night, man. Thank you so much for kicking it with us, bud. My dad's DVD of this movie haunted me as a kid. Little did I know it sucked. Jordan says, I used to live like 20 minutes from Burkittsville. Never went there, though, unfortunately. Should have gone hiking out there. Just don't lose the map. Yeah, I'm having a tough time. Like, it's been so long. It's been almost 25 years, for sure. Oh, and Eli's still rocking the DVD CD of Book of Shadows. Yeah, they're advertising that on IMDb. That's like the trailer that shows is like, it's the very first DVD CD combo. That's pretty fun stuff. Apparently I need to watch this movie again. Melanie says, okay, you guys are convincing me to try it again and give it another shot. There you go. I'll send you a link to my favorite Book of Shadows deep dive, Davey. Thank you so much, Jamie. Yes, please do. Damn, I was going on 2 in 2000. Yeah, I'm an old man, Antonis. Old man. Bad horror movies are sometimes secretly peak. I don't know what to say. There is something to say for that, too. That, a trashy horror movie can still be kind of fun. There it is. Nanette says, I love Book of Shadows more than the original movie. Yeah. Same here, Ashton. Okay. Well, I guess that's... Man, Book of Shadows. Maybe need to rewatch that one. Maybe give it a watch party treatment, too. Well, shoot. Melanie, thank you so much for suggesting Book of Shadows Blair Witch 2. And thank you so much for kicking it with us a little bit longer. I know you got to have to get some rest, but I'm happy that we were able to keep you hanging on a little bit more. And now you've got another flick that you can add to your rewatch list and see if you're feeling any different about it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to checking out that video you're talking about there, Jamie. And maybe I can even share that with you guys as a post, just in case some of y'all are interested in seeing that, in giving Blair Witch 2 another shot. Have sweet dreams, Melanie. We'll see you next time around. All right, guys, let's jump on over. We're at an hour and a half. Let me... Boom. Getting back to Friday the 13th. Jason Takes Manhattan. What the hell? Not only, again, the kills are... maybe they're a little bit better than the New Blood. They're still pretty neutered. But they're just not that great here. Kind of like the look of Jason to a certain degree. You know, the yellow mask, sopping wet the entire time. I kind of dig that. I think my favorite kill is the one in the disco where he just like slams the girl down on the dance floor. That's probably my favorite one. This movie has that really weird turn with the junkie guys assaulting. What's her name? Why can't I think of the final girl's name? You guys let me know in the chat. This is terrible. It's like right on the tip of my tongue. I don't know why I can't think of it right now because I know it's kind of an odd name. It's like it's right there. Has that odd turn with the junkies like shooting her up, and they, start to take advantage of her, and then Jason comes in and like kind of plays the hero there for a minute. And then, of course, like the special effects during the melting scene at the end, really, really rough. Even the head punching scene, I'm so over at this point in my life. When I was a kid, I thought it was kind of cool that the guy gets his head like punched clear off, but there's like no blood. Like, what the hell is it? It's so like fakey. I don't know. It's kind of funny though that it slams the dumpster shut. I think that's kind of funny. One thing that I do like though in this movie, oh, is it Rennie? I'm not looking at the chat, I swear. I think the final girl's name is Rennie, like Rennie Harlan. Is that like a reference to Rennie Harlan? I do like the bitchy blonde girl in this movie. That's like the one I really do dig her. She's such a bitch. Same as in like the New Blood, the bitchy blonde girl in that one. I don't know what it is. I love the characters that you love to hate. I feel like all of these movies need that kind of thing. But yeah, Jason Takes Manhattan is everything that I said about the New Blood. This movie does worse. The kills are still neutered, and it gets just even more off the rails. It makes the New Blood look like a friggin' masterpiece. Yeah, Jason Takes Manhattan. I'm not a fan. I think it's one of the worst movies in the franchise. There, I said it. I have not seen 30 Days of Night, Dark Days. I've only seen the original. Yeah. No, this movie is horrible. I'm the long-haired kid on the boat, though. Tag yourself. Yeah, the Kelly Who kill. Great stuff. Jason Takes a Dump is more like it. Let me see here. I can't hate Jason Takes a Boat. It's so bad it's good. So much fun. Yeah, it's not like a tough watch or anything. I do think it's pretty rough, though, for sure. Seems like Ashton is right there with you. The head punching scene is the peak of the franchise. That's the only good thing about the movie. Rennie is the worst final girl ever, even worse than the girl in Resurrection. Maybe. Jared says, oh my God, Davey, we have talked about this one. A lot of nostalgia on this one for me. USA Up All Night with Gilbert Gottfried. First Friday I ever saw. Yeah, the very first time I saw it was on USA as well. Back in the 90s for sure. Nanette says, I like Friday the 13th Part 8. And with that said, I know this isn't that great of a movie, but I think it's fun in my opinion. Yeah, it's got some fun stuff going on in it. Charles, another character that you love to hate. I have a lot of fun, hating that character, watching him get drowned in a vat of whatever that is, that toxic sludge that's in the garbage can there. After a really cool Jason teleportation move there. I like Jason Takes Manhattan more than Jason Goes to Hell. Boom. Part 7 is like a De Palma film compared to this poo-poo. Yeah, there it is. And speaking of Jason Goes to Hell, let's just touch on that one really quick too. I don't hate this movie, but man, the body swap thing is very daring because you're basically taking Jason out of almost the entire movie. He's in the first 10 minutes and then the last 15 maybe. And then the only other times we see him is in like reflections. For some reason, the reflection of the bodies that he's taken over, for whatever reason, the reflection shows actual Jason. It's really odd. I said this the other night on Wednesday when we were talking about, great scenes in terrible movies. I do like that diner massacre. I think the effects are great. I think the effects in this movie are actually really good overall. I'm not the biggest fan of them trying to make Jason a Deadite. To me, that doesn't really make any sense. Canonically speaking, it doesn't make any sense because Deadites always sort of play with the people that aren't possessed. They just fuck with them relentlessly and try to torture them, which we never get with Jason. So Jason being a Deadite doesn't really make sense to me, but all the effects, like when he leaves a body and it starts melting, I mentioned this the other night with the jaw getting like stuck to the floor and all that stuff. Like, I love that shit, so much. But yeah, Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday, not a movie that I detest within the franchise. Probably in the back third of my ranking, I would imagine. it's been a while since I've thought about that ranking or gone back to review my video. But hey, guys, I do have a Friday the 13th ranking video on the channel that you can check out. I know Ken Sledge from Sledgehammer Horror has a lot of love for this movie, but it is one of those that was brought up on through Instagram when I put the feelers out there for you guys to tell me, you know, which horror sequels are the worst ones. Jason Goes to Hell got more than one mention, so had to bring it up tonight. Let's see what you guys got here. Antonis says, I hate Jason Goes to Hell. Oh yeah, when Jason throws future Jason into the diner mirror. Yeah, Ken Kurtzinger's in Jason Goes to Hell. He's the big ass cook that gets thrown into the mirror there. It is Jasonception. Let's see here. Jason Goes to Hell is literally offensive, says Gavin. I like the body swap in Jason Goes to Hell. Well, there you go. It works for Nanette. Yeah. Jared says, got to give Adam Marcus credit for trying something new. It doesn't have any business being a Friday film, but it's fairly entertaining and watchable. This is an alternative universe, so it's fine, Davey. Oh, I didn't know that it was supposed to take place in an alternative universe. Remember how many pop culture people are confirmed to exist in this movie? I guess I need to rewatch it yet again, even though I watch this one once or twice a year. Holy cow. Nah, I want to buy this movie just to frisbee it down the street, says Gavin. We got Mark from Tales from the Shelf. What's happening, Mark? I was telling everyone earlier in the stream that we've got something cooking for Thursday, April 17th. We're going to be coming back with another Versus Live. So, guys, be on the lookout for that. And if you have not subscribed to Tales from the Shelf, check out Mark's channel. Really awesome video essays. The guy knows his shit, and he makes some great content, so check it out for sure. Jordan says Jason Goes to Heck is different, but I actually enjoy it overall. It has some good gore and some other visually aesthetic pleasures. Not horrible to me. Yeah, I think you're right there. The gore is amazing in this movie. Again, I don't call this a worst horror sequel, but it popped up on the list, and some of you guys mentioned it on social media. So I wanted to give it some time today. The music really doesn't work for me. That's like another thing that's just like, I don't care if it's Harry Manfredini, the keyboard that he used, whatever synthesizer it was, the voices on it are just like, bleh. And I like the characters in the movie, says Nanette. I like the characters too. I think it's, is it Steven? Right? Steven's like the nerdy guy that wears the Letterman jacket. Ken is wrong. Love Ken, but Jason Goes to Hell is an abomination. This is one where I draw the line. That body swapping worm is BS. Yeah, it is odd. What about the shaving scene? How do you guys feel about the shaving scene? Davey, what is worse, Friday the 13th movie for you, or just sequel, since we're talking about sequels? What's the worst one? I think, gosh, which one did I say was the worst in my ranking? It's probably either Jason Takes Manhattan or Jason X, I think. Oh, yeah. Need that water, guys. Been talking for an hour and 44 minutes. So they do. Oh, do they mention Michael Myers and Freddy Krueger? Okay. So it's supposed to be a little meta. Is that what you're saying, Medley Man? That Jason Goes to Hell is kind of like the meta Friday the 13th film? Jordan Decker says, I'd like to body swap with a hot chick. See what a day in the life is like. But let's admit it, Jordan, you would just sit there in front of the mirror with your shirt off, right? Oh, they reference the Myers house. All right. Absolutely, my guy. There's a link also in the chat, you guys, so you can check out Mark's channel and throw him a sub. Great content over there. Oh, there it is. Remember Mark from Late Night with the Davey last year? Yes, that was a blast. Absolutely. Dominic St. Clair says, I love Jason Goes to Hell. There you go. Yeah, it's probably where, I don't know. It's probably third or fourth worst in my ranking, I would imagine. But not to say that I hate it, because I could watch these movies all friggin' day. Boom, got a sub there. Love it. Adam Marcus, who directed Friday 9, wrote Texas Chainsaw 3D. Ooh, maybe we can talk about that one coming up next. The shaving scene was put there to make men feel uncomfortable and weirded out, while also something that people would talk about years later. Yeah, it is uncomfortable. It's very strange. Jamie Hart says, I love Jason X. It's so stupid that it's actually amazing. Yeah, it's like a sci-fi film. You know, it's like a TV movie kind of. Yeah, they did work the Evil Dead universe in there. You know, Sam Raimi actually gave him the actual props. So that's kind of cool. You know, I just, it doesn't make sense to me that Jason would be a Deadite, just based on what we know from the other movies. If Jason were a Deadite, then at some point he would sort of return to his regular form to like tease and play with people and then go back to being like the Deadite version. That's a good moment right there, Gavin. Yep. Kane Hodder as Freddy Krueger's glove. Best kill in the series. Oh, Jason X. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. 3 to 7 plus the remake are the only ones that matter. Melting jaw greater than freezing kill. All right. I like that take, Medley Man. I like that take for sure. So it seems like we got kind of a mix here on Jason Goes to Hell. Some of us hate it, some of us really like it, and some of us just can have some fun with this one. Okay, guys, let's jump on over to A Nightmare on Elm Street 5. The Dream Child. Now, part 4 has grown on me quite a bit as of late. The more I watch these movies, the more I enjoy part 4. So I actually really enjoy, you know, the first 4 Nightmare on Elm Street movies and Wes Craven's New Nightmare. I'm not the biggest, I know a lot of people like the in vogue thing the last few years is to be like a Freddy's Revenge, you know, giant fan of Freddy's Revenge and talk about all the deeper meaning and everything. That one actually like slides in my ranking the more that I watch these movies, but holy shit, you guys, A Nightmare on Elm Street 5. This is where I'm just totally over it. I'm just like, so what? Like, how are we going to bring Freddy back this time? Okay, so like if a baby has a dream about Freddy, then Freddy comes back to life. How is the baby having dreams about Freddy? How is that happening? It's like we're just clearly running out of ideas. Again, this movie's got the whole dirty wall thing. Just dirty walls in these people's houses. Terrible alcoholic parents. You know, there might be like a fun kill or two in The Dream Child, but it is so absurd. I get so sick of like how they're bringing Freddy back that by the time Nightmare on Elm Street 5 comes around, I'm just, it is like, you know, it took Friday the 13th a couple more movies or a few more movies before it really fell off the rails. I feel like A Nightmare on Elm Street, one of the reasons why it's my least favorite out of the big 3 is that there's not many great movies in a franchise that doesn't have that many movies. You know, when I compare the best of the best in A Nightmare versus Friday the 13th and Halloween, they just don't really stack up. And the mediocre to bad movies in this franchise like are way like they're just really bad. This isn't the only A Nightmare on Elm Street movie we're going to talk about. But this is the first one I wanted to talk about with you guys. So let's see what y'all have to say here. It's a boy. I mean, it's the worst one, but is it the worst one? Is it worse than Freddy's Dead? Nanette loves The Dream Child. Nanette, you're so positive. I love that. I love that. Jamie says Dream Child sucks walnuts. Freddy's Dead is worse. Oh, we're going to talk about that. The Dream Child sucks, but it's not as bad as Freddy's Dead. There you go. Freddy's Dead is better than Freddy versus Jason to me. Yeah, Freddy versus Jason doesn't age very well for me either, yeah. Robert Englund as Freddy always makes the films fun to see and is what we came to see as Freddy Krueger played by Robert Englund. I do agree with that. However, yeah, I mean, I said it just a few minutes ago, but it's just the way that they try to bring him back in these movies just gets more and more absurd. The way that they kill him gets even more absurd. as we go on. I can't. So that's the thing too, is I'm like, how does he die in this one? Is this one where they show him his reflection in his mirror? What do they do? Is that part 4? I get so confused because all of these movies are so like samey to me, and I think that's another crappy thing about the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. Excuse me, guys. I'm drinking that fizzy water. It has me burping. Just be lucky it's not smell-o-vision, right? What's happening, Miss C? Welcome on into the chat. We're talking worst horror movie sequels. Let me know what some of yours are in the chat if you've got them. Any other thoughts on Nightmare on Elm Street, The Dream Child? There's only one Freddy Krueger movie I don't like, and it's the remake. I certainly don't like that one, yeah. Nightmare on Elm Street does not hold up as a franchise. I said it. Yes, I totally agree with you, Gavin. I absolutely agree with you. I'm kind of blown away when... no judgment or anything, but I am sort of blown away when people are like, Freddy, like A Nightmare on Elm Street's my favorite franchise. I'm like, whoa, holy shit. Like, that's wild to me. I just think Friday the 13th and especially Halloween are so much better. Even though there's movies like Resurrection and Jason X and Jason Goes to Hell and Jason Takes Manhattan. Jared says Dream Warriors was the beginning of Andrew Dice Freddy, and it got worse and worse with each installment that followed. Not a fan of comedian Freddy. Yeah, it's like, you can deal with it in Dream Warriors because Dream Warriors is so creative and actually has a story, bringing back Nancy and her father. Like, that's great to have those legacy characters return that weren't in the first sequel. But yeah, it is kind of the beginning of the end. I think it works in Dream Warriors, but it's like that became the thing. They really, took it and ran with it, and it just got pretty absurd pretty quickly, unfortunately. Eli says, I love all the nightmares. This is my franchise. There it is. There he is. I fucking hate the remake, though. I love this franchise for the imagination of the kills. Yeah, I think that's the thing about A Nightmare on Elm Street is all they care about really are the kills. And that's fine. It's like Final Destination to me. Like, Final Destination is like a C+ franchise to me because it's just all about the creative kills. Like, they don't really care about anything else. They're like, what's going to be the event? And then how are we going to do our Rube Goldberg machine kills like after this? That's pretty much all they're concerned with in that franchise. And that's what A Nightmare on Elm Street ended up becoming, pretty much, was just like a... going through like a carnival fun house of twisted, hilarious kills. I believe Freddy's Dead is better than The Dream Child. Ooh, Gav, you're not wrong. There it is. Ashton agrees with us, Gavin. Jason Goes to Hell can go to hell, says Miss C. Yes, you just missed it, Miss C. So if you want to scrub back, we just talked about Jason Goes to Hell right before talking about A Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child. So yeah, if you want to scrub on back and check that out. A little bit of a mixed bag. There's some folks in the chat that really enjoy Jason Goes to Hell. Other folks think it's the absolute worst thing. Like our guy Gavin Mud Nelson said he would only buy the movie to use it as a frisbee. It's Jason Goes to Hell can go to hell. Oh, I love it. Dream Child, third worst in the franchise. All right. Okay. Yeah. I think that's probably where I put it too, Adrian. I think so. Because, yeah, the remake is the worst to me. Yeah, Freddy's Dead, and then, yeah, Dream Child. There you go. Yeah. Yeah, the character of Freddy carries, but what the fuck are these movies? Exactly. They are dumb. I don't like the Dream Child, but I like the little, like the girl that gets fed to death. Oh, yeah, that kill. And that's the thing is like Eli was saying, the kills, the imagination on the kills. That's what... So I think the things that people go to A Nightmare on Elm Street for, the people that are the big fans like Eli here and my guy Cecil from the Horror Show channel, it's the imagination of the kills and Freddy having a personality. Because there are some folks in the horror community that love slashers, but they want that personality. They like Freddy, they like Chucky, they like Ghostface. Guys like Jason and Michael, the silent killers don't really do it for them. Or don't do it as much for them. So yeah, I totally think that's what's going on. Like the girl getting fed to death, like these creative kills. I think it's part 4 where the girl turns into the cockroach. Stuff like that. That's why we love these. That's why we enjoy these movies, and that's why one of the reasons why the people that love them really do love them. Ooh, Paula, you should check out Dream Warriors. Is a lot of fun. And I actually, guys, what is it? The Dream Master, part 4. I think that one's low key, like really damn good. I think that's my 4th favorite in the franchise. So I would go like original, Wes Craven's New Nightmare, Dream Warriors, Dream Master. And man, I might even, like, the next time I watch those movies, Dream Master might scoot ahead of Dream Warriors. I don't know. I know it's kind of crazy. But I love that whole montage where Alice is getting ready to, like, she's putting on like a charm from each one of her dead friends to like help her go into the dream world and fight Freddy. I love that. Chester is back. The Elm Street remake is so terrible. I can't stand it with the burnt squirrel look. I had to do it. Let's see here. The remake is good, and I think people just don't like that they got tricked into watching a disturbing movie. Yeah, I don't think it's good. I didn't find it very disturbing either. I found a lot of the performances to be pretty lacking. I really don't like the opening. I think the opening's like trying to be cool, but instead of hiring a good actor, they hired a kid that looks like a model. I think Rooney Mara, I actually really liked her performance in the movie. Yeah, I don't think, turning him into a pedo, not necessary. It's not that I think that that's too disturbing. It's just that I think Freddy being a, child killer is bad enough. I mean, that's what they did with the original. It was kind of a well-measured choice in the original, and I feel like they should have just gone with that. But yeah, I believe Final Destination franchise is better than the Freddy films. Ooh, hey, it's not that I don't have love for it, Eli. It's just, to me, it's the last one in the big 3. That, just my personal opinion. Don't hate on me. New Nightmare is my second favorite in the franchise behind the original. I'm right there with you. We're going to talk about that, Medley Man, because I think the Final Destination is absolutely dreadful. I can have fun with Jason X. Jason Goes to Hell. I just can't stand it. I love it, Miss C. Jamie Hart, our original Death Squad mod. I'm not sure if she's still in the chat. I know it's late out there on the East Coast. But she was saying she has a lot of fun with Jason X as well. And I can have a lot of fun with it too. It reminds me of like a sci-fi original movie. It's got that kind of like high budget 90s TV show kind of look to it. A little too clean for me. But yeah, I can certainly have a lot more fun with Jason X than with Jason Goes to Hell. Certainly I'm not a Jason Goes to Hell hater, but I love seeing you guys throw out your opinions for sure. Holy cow, our guy Mud Nelson, Mr. Gavin, dropping a $9.99 super chat, says Friday 5 Supremacy. Ooh, yes. Friday 5 just celebrated 40 years. Man, this one, A New Beginning, is like the sleeper for the, it's like the low-key favorite in the franchise. There's some people that are like, what the heck, I don't like that movie at all. But then there's this contingent of fans where they're like, this is the best one. This is the best one out of all of them. Like, forget the final chapter. Forget Jason Lives. Throw those ones out. Give me A New Beginning. Gavin's our guy, dropping that Friday 5, A New Beginning, Supremacy love. Yeah, man. What a fun flick. Again, it would move up in my ranking if the kills weren't so neutered. At least we get some aftermath on a couple of the kills. Tons of boobs. Holy cow. Tit Central. You could call it Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning, tons of tits. And that would make sense as a title. But yeah, man, if they could restore the kills in that one, I would love to see a cut of A New Beginning with the full glory of the kills in there as well. Thank you so much for the $9.99, Gavin. Really appreciate you, bud. Guys, let's go ahead and move on to real quick. Jordan says, I never got No Nightmare on Elm Street, haven't seen them all. and couldn't tell you one from the next. Other than the OG, Freddy's Dead, New Nightmare, Freddy vs. Jason, and the remake, don't know one from the next. Well, that's at least most of them. But yeah, I got totally confused. It's like, when does he get killed by the mirror? I get so lost on some of these. They just sort of run together. What's happening, Chad? Hope you are doing well. Chud's Corner is in the house, folks. Chad, what are some of your least favorite horror movie sequels? Let me have it. I need to know. Tell me, baby girl, because I need to know. Let's see here. We're going to move ahead to Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. Holy cow, this movie is ass. But I do really like the Goo Goo Dolls song in the soundtrack. I can say that about this movie. Let's see here. Oh, we got more. What did Miss C? Oh, please don't get me started on Halloween. Yes, like Jamie says, if you rewatch or just scrub back, we talked about a handful of the Halloween movies for sure. So yeah, if you want to see which ones we gave the hate to, I'll probably skip that part. Do remakes count? If no, I'll go with the Nightmare Rennie Harlan directed. So that's part 4. All right, I really dig that one. I do really dig that one. But like Jordan had said, just a couple minutes ago, there is this sort of like, these movies kind of run, they're just like, which one is which? And I can totally understand that. Like, I really like A Nightmare 4, but yeah, no, I hear you. It's these movies are pretty rough for sure. Davey, get on the letterboxed grind, brother. I know there's so much to keep up with, Gavin. It's just yeah, I certainly could be better about it though. You know what I could be better about, honestly, is like just doing shorts on YouTube and then putting them on TikTok. Like, I don't care about TikTok, but I'm like, dude, if you wanted your channel to grow, you'd probably do those things that help get your channel seen. Freddy's Dead is the worst in the franchise for me, says Antonis. Jared says Freddy's Dead is one of those movies that's so rotten and awful, I enjoy watching it for how bad it is. Freddy looks like crap. He does. Yeah. You forgot the power glove. Ridiculous shit. Freddy's Dead literally pisses me off, says Ashton. This, Halloween 5, and The Ring 2 can all fall off the face of the earth. Yeah, Freddy's Dead is rough. There earlier, who was it that said it? Let's see. Somebody had mentioned. I'm going through. I thought I had highlighted it. Somebody had mentioned the kill, Carlos's kill, with like the hearing aid that turns into like the bug that latches onto his head. I do think that's like kind of cool. I like that. Again, lots of dirty walls in this one. We got the You're Fucked map. We got Roseanne and Tom Arnold. I think she was still Roseanne. I think she might have been Roseanne Arnold at that time. Yeah, Freddy's Dead. Not good. Not good. And like Jared said, Freddy does really look like crap. Dominic, though, says Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare knew what type of film it was. They knew what they were doing and how goofy the series had become. Maybe I need to rewatch it, Dominic. Because to me, it does seem like they're trying to like add some lore, going with like Freddy's like missing child and everything. But yeah, we have like some legit like Looney Tunes moments here. Freddy is like the Wicked Witch of the West, that moment too. Yeah, I mean, that's a good question, guys. Regardless of whether or not you like Freddy's Dead, do you think that it's kind of like tongue-in-cheek? Do you think it's sort of a self-aware movie that's not taking itself too seriously? Do you agree with Dominic here? Let me know. Miss C says, I adore Freddy's Dead, but I love silly horror. There you go. Chad says, Jason Goes to Hell, Freddy's Dead, Halloween 5 are pretty low for me, but still watchable. Yeah. Well, here we talked about Halloween 5, we talked Jason Goes to Hell, and here we are on Freddy's Dead. It's this one for me, this one is just tough for me to get through. And I think that's why I'm not into it, Freddy's Dead had a great explosion. The 3D explosion where the demon sperm escape. Gavin says you could find new people for the channel through Letterboxd. I have almost 4 times the amount of followers on there than I do on Instagram. Holy shit. Yeah, maybe I should. No relation on Tom Arnold. There you go. And let's just say, all the Paranormal Activity and Conjuring sequels and spin-offs, boring shit. Yeah, I never got into Paranormal Activity. I just never really got into a lot of found footage type movies either. And the Conjuring, you know, I like the first Conjuring. I might have seen the second one. I can't remember. Yeah, the spin-offs, though, I've totally given those a miss. If I don't hear, like, that these movies are amazing, I just, like, the older I get, I'm like, oh, that's just for the kids, you know? I hated Spencer's death because it was too cliche. He could have been, he could have beaten Freddy better in the game. Oh, is that, who is that? Is that Breckin Meyer that plays him in the movie? The stoner kid? Yeah, Freddy had become a sarcastic symbol for the age of excess. Yeah, this movie, he got MTV'd the fuck out, like part 4, part 5, and here in part 6. And you know, I mean, at this point, like, you know, when this movie came out, they did like an actual funeral for Freddy and everything like that, and then, you know, he was back just a couple years later in New Nightmare. Antonis says, I like the remake way more than Freddy's Dead. I have a tough time with that remake. But hey, more power to you. Yeah, I think... does Freddy look better in the remake? That's a tough one. I don't know. I definitely agree with Dominic. It is a self-aware movie that makes fun of itself. I mean, I have a movie, and even Robert Englund said they were making a movie that was supposed to be making fun of it. Okay. Yeah, I guess I just never thought of it that way, because it seems like this natural progression from Dream Warriors to Freddy's Dead, of Freddy just getting progressively goofier throughout all those movies. So I just thought that they were just leaning even further into it. But I guess I was wrong. Holy cow, another $9.99 from our guy Gavin. Says, A Nightmare on Elm Street 3 launched the godness that is Patricia Arquette. Lost Highway, Bringing Out the Dead, and True Romance for the win. Now Severance, too. Hell yeah. No, she's really good. You can tell in Dream Warriors that, you know, when you see these actors and actresses that are going to go on and have bigger careers, like, there's just something about the charisma that you can really just feel. You know, Johnny Depp in the original Nightmare on Elm Street. I even think Jennifer Aniston in the first Leprechaun movie. There's just, she brings a powerful performance. And yeah, Patricia Arquette in Dream Warriors is, I mean, there's just something. You can just tell that she's going to be a huge star. I need to watch Severance. My brother's like in the middle of the second season, and he's just totally sucked in. He just started watching it like last week, and he's just like barreled through all the episodes. So I've heard really, really good stuff about that one for sure. But yeah, Patricia Arquette's great. True Romance is one of the great 90s films. I mean, amazing. We talked about that a little bit on Wednesday because we did a little tribute to Val Kilmer, who plays like the ghost of Elvis, or, you know, our main character's interpretation in his own mind of what Elvis was like. Really appreciate the $9.99, Gavin. Thank you so much, man. I do got to get on Letterboxd. Let's see if I can quadruple my followers over there. No worries, man. Not a requirement at all, but really, really appreciate the love. Absolutely. Got to get in that David Lynch talk. Yeah. Lost Highway, is that Bill Pullman? Is he in that one as well? If the Nightmare on Elm Street remake went 100% practical effects, more people would have liked it. Maybe. I just think if Freddy was like a little scarier. I didn't find Freddy to be scary at all, unfortunately. Oh yeah, Medium was another big one with Patricia. Yeah. Jordan says, I have the stream playing on 3 screens simultaneously, TV and computer, and now on my phone because I had to go. Well, I appreciate it. It helps with the watch hours there. I think Patricia Arquette comes out in Tales from the Crypt. She falls in love with the Scarecrow. Ooh, I remember that episode, Eli, from when I was a kid. I got to get back on my Tales from the Crypt reviews. Thank you for the reminder. I did see that Dr. Wolfula reviewed the one that's going to be my next one up, and I'm like, oh, of course the doc just did the one that I'm going to do. Yeah, such a bummer. And yeah, prayers to Val Kilmer's family and friends, of course. Way too young to lose the guy. I've just been watching like funny little short when he was on that what's that show with Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant, and Warwick Davis? What's that show called? I was just watching, my brother showed me the short where Val had an appearance on there. Is it called like Life is Short or something like that? Anyways, real fun stuff. Bill, I'm interested, like, I don't think I've seen Lost Highway, so I got to give it a watch because I've never thought that Bill Pullman was that good of an actor. So I'm curious to know what he would be like in a David Lynch movie. I mean, I love him in Spaceballs. I just think outside of that, I don't think he's very good necessarily. He's just sort of corny, sort of stiff. Oh, is that why she didn't return? I thought she just didn't. I thought she was like, I'm going to go be a star now. Boom, I'm on the TV and the phone. Hell yeah. Yeah, married to Nicolas Cage. What a couple. My brother and I have been going through like the older SNLs, like from the mid 80s. And Rosanna Arquette hosted one of those episodes. And holy cow, it seems like she is all drugged out. And it must have been right around when Desperately Seeking Susan came out. She seems whacked out on all sorts of drugs. Not sure. Antonis asks, does Dr. Wolfula sleep with his mask on, and will we ever see what he looks like as a human? Well, I think the closest you'll get, Antonis, is, Goulash, because he plays Goulash as well. And with Goulash, he does put, like, makeup on and stuff like that, but I'm pretty sure that's the same guy. So I think that's the closest we'll get to seeing the good old Doc reveal his face. Yeah, man, I got to get him on. I would love to have him on Late Night with the Davey. Can you imagine that? I agree, Ashton. He was good at that. Yeah, Bruce Wayne and Batman, I thought he did an excellent job for sure. Bill Pullman is my local celebrity. Holy cow. Do you bump into him at the grocery store? No, it's okay. We're going to jump back on to bad sequels. We are. We've exhausted Freddy's Dead, so at least we know that. So let's see here. The Descent Part 2. Jesus, what the hell happened? What happened? You guys, The Descent is incredible. The Descent was a movie I expected nothing from. I thought it was going to be like that movie The Cave came out like the same year. I was like, oh no, this is going to be like terrible like The Cave. And that original Descent movie just blew my mind. Like the tension that gets built up, the performances, when the shit hits the fan, like it just becomes this incredible film. Our heroine is like soaked in blood. It's just everything that you would want from a movie, especially going in with like low or no expectations. And then, oh my God, I don't even think I made it through The Descent Part 2. I think I turned it off like maybe 40 minutes in, because it basically like tries to retcon everything for whatever reason. Like the cops like drag her back to like the scene of where everything happened. It's just this like, it feels like a nightmare. It feels like, can you imagine getting out of this insane situation and then you go and tell the police and they're like, all right, well, we're just gonna go bring you right back. Yeah, The Descent Part 2. Holy crap. I have seen The Serpent and the Rainbow, and yeah, Bill is really good in that one. That's a really good movie. That's a Wes Craven film, right? I think so. I think he could have like 30 years ago. Yeah, why not? But I guess Freddy Krueger is kind of like his version of the Joker, I have bumped into him in the grocery store. There you go. Do you ever say to him, I said only take with you what you need to survive? It's like my favorite line of his from Spaceballs. Yeah, avoid The Descent Part 2. I feel so lucky for you, Antonis, that you've only seen the first one. Let's see here. Haven't seen Descent 2. Haven't seen Descent 2. I hated The Descent. I know that's not usual. Oh my goodness. How many times have you seen it, Jamie? Because I like it more and more every time I watch it, although I did really enjoy it the first time. The claustrophobia of it like really, really got me in a good way. Couldn't finish this train wreck, turned it off like 25. Yes, I'm right there with you. Right there with you. Miss C says, I can honestly say I like the original Nightmare, Dream Warriors, Freddy's Dead, and that's all, folks. Oh my goodness. That's an interesting top 3 right there, Miss C. That's having Freddy's Dead in there is a hot take for sure. But yeah, I mean, the original is great. Dream Warrior is so much fun. Yeah. Top Secret. Yes, Top Secret's amazing. If you guys haven't seen Top Secret and you like parody movies, you like comedies, got to check it out. Nanette can't stand The Descent either. And here I thought that Nanette was so positive about everything, but couldn't stand The Descent. No, it's quite all right. Quite all right. All opinions are welcome here. I love The Descent. I think it's fantastic. Easily my favorite Neil Marshall movie for sure. But yeah, I guess if it bored you and you didn't like the characters, there you go. There you go. Same with Blair Witch. Yeah, the original Blair Witch, kind of boring. Yeah. When someone told me Val Kilmer passed on April Fools, I thought they were April Foolsing me. It turns out they were serious. Yeah, it's so sad, man. I've seen The Descent many, many times on HBO, Showtime, Stars, or whatever channel had it on. Just didn't like it. Oh, shit. More like The Descent. Ah! All right, so we can move on from this one because it seems like it seems like Ashton and I are the only ones that made it about 25 minutes in. The Descent gives me real anxiety, claustrophobia. Yeah, me too. I was so stoned out of my mind the first time I watched The Descent, and it really put me in a spot. Unlike the main topic of the stream, I want to give a shout out and happy anniversary to Evil Dead 2013. Easily one of the best horror sequels, and it's now my favorite of the franchise. I fucking love that movie, T. Parker. It's my second favorite, right next to the original. It's tough to upend the original out of that number one spot for me. But yeah, happy 12-year anniversary to Evil Dead 2013. Let's see here. The Descent 2 kills off Juno and Sarah. Well, Juno gets killed in the first one, right? Yeah. I never saw Don't Breathe 2, but I do really love Don't Breathe. Totally a wild movie. Oh yeah, we are still kicking, Matt. Working on the other side of YouTube's No Worries. Yeah, we're talking about The Descent Part 2, but it seems like not many folks have seen it, so we are going to move on to here's a one that like is a heartbreaker for me, guys. Survival of the Dead. I love George A. Romero. He's like my favorite director. I love the Dead series for the most part. Everything from the original Night to Diary of the Dead, I can defend all of those movies. The original Day of the Dead is my favorite zombie film of all time. I absolutely adore Dawn of the Dead. I love that George could make an entertaining movie that also could have, some messaging to it that, for the most part was usually pretty subtle. Now, the older he got, he sort of lost that subtlety. Survival of the Dead is a prime example of that. I struggled to make it through this movie. I've never gone back to it. I own it, of course, because I love George A. Romero zombie movies. This one just seemed like, what happened? Like, where's the consistency? It's this whole like Hatfield and McCoy's thing. It really leans into the whole like the zombies can be taught to like eat something else that's not humans. It's this really like absolving the zombies of like their sin, so to speak. And like the last shot of the movie pissed me off so bad because it basically shows zombies like rushing, taking down like a horse and eating the horse, like that they had actually moved on, and for some reason now they don't want to bite people or eat people anymore. So it went like full circle from just implying that the zombies are basically just another version of us to making them not really villains anymore. I don't know. And not to say that the zombies are really the villains in these movies. I think the people, they're bad people in each one of these movies, and they're the villains. But it really odd for it to sort of, to me, it was a jump the shark moment, having the zombies all of a sudden finding a replacement for like a food source. And then now we are living in Survival of the Dead. By the end of the movie, they're living in a world where zombies like don't really pose a credible threat, which to me just really pissed me off. I didn't think the performances were good. Again, I've only seen this movie one time because it just broke my heart. I had to bring it up because I do think it is one of the worst horror movie sequels. I never thought that I would have such a negative opinion about a George A. Romero zombie film, but here I am. Let me see if any of you guys have checked this out. Let's see here. Haven't seen Survival of the Dead. I wish their tagline was for The Descent was "Shit's going down." Haven't seen it. Another movie I haven't seen. How can you say you don't like something you haven't seen? Was that something that I said? Oh, didn't waste time with Don't Breathe 2. I don't know anything about the plot for Don't Breathe 2. I didn't hear anything bad about it. But with The Descent Part 2, I don't know if that's what you're talking about, Jamie. I made it probably like 40 minutes in, 40 minutes in or something like that, and was just like, oh, I can't finish this. It was so bad. I'm not sure if that's what you're referencing, or maybe you might be talking about somebody else's comment. Juno was last seen surrounded by crawlers, but it turns out she survived. Oh, well, that's even dumber. Ugh. That's terrible. Stream hopping. Gavin, $9.99 for more Evil Dead 2013, one of my favorite horror movies ever. Yeah, I mean, what's not to love? Fede Alvarez really knows how to take on another franchise and make a great entry. I mean, Alien Romulus has like its dumb moments, and all of those Alien movies have plenty of dumbness going on in them. But I don't think it's a bad movie. And with Evil Dead 2013, to me, he captured the spirit of the original so well. To me, it's the closest film in the franchise to the original film, even though it's not a remake, it is a sequel. I love the performances that he gets out of the actors, especially Jane Levy. I mean, her performance is unreal in this film. The use of practical effects was great. All the blood, the natural god beams that they got. I think they shot this one in Australia or New Zealand, something like that. Yeah, Evil Dead 2013. So like I was encouraged by the ads and everything when I saw the ads coming out. I could not have been prepared for how much I loved this movie. I must have seen it like 4 times in the theater when it came out. Could not wait to get it on Blu-ray. And yeah, a movie I watch at least once a year, maybe twice. And now that we're, right around that, what is the actual anniversary today, or is it? I thought for some reason it was like the 11th or the 16th or something like that. But I'll have to watch it here sometime soon. Thank you so much for the third installment of $9.99. For 3 easy payments of $9.99, you can kick it on the Davey Death Ray channel. Adrian says, ooh, I have a good next choice. Hannibal, bad sequel to the OG Silence. Ooh, yeah. I'm going to star that one there. Wait, Survival of the Dead is bad, but kind of so bad it's good. Talk about a sci-fi original feel. Yeah. It definitely has a cheap feel and look. I mean, the actors, oh, geez. Like, were these people even actors? It was so bad. Yeah. I finished this one, but I could not bring myself to rewatch it. Very, very tough. Yeah, Day of the Dead's the way to go. Rhodes is an amazing villain. But this movie you're talking about, is it really a George A. Romero movie? It just has his name on it. No, he was still alive. Yeah, he didn't die until... What did he die? Like 7 or 8 years ago? Yeah, this movie was already out before he passed away. There is a newer movie that they're working on. I think one of his kids is working on it. That's based on like a script he wrote or was writing that he had passed. But yeah, Survival of the Dead was actually made by George A. Romero. Don't Breathe 2. Yeah. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about. There's no reason why I haven't watched it. I really haven't heard much about it. Jared says, never have seen Survival. Davey, what's your opinion on Tom Savini's Night of the Living Dead remake from 1990? Good one if you haven't seen it. Yeah, I've got that one on. I've got a Blu-ray of that movie. I think I prefer the original. Tom Savini's Night of the Living Dead came out. What was it? Yeah, from 90. It has this Stephen King TV movie kind of look. Like the lighting is like maybe a little too bright, makes the set look kind of cheap. It just has this, I don't know, has a little bit of an amateurish look to it, if I'm going to be honest. I love Tony Todd's performance as Ben. I think he's the standout for sure. Not too pumped on the other performances, unfortunately. And I know the original has its issues with the performances as well. But I do love, Dwayne Jones in the original is amazing. Carl Hardman, who plays Mr. Cooper, I actually really like his performance as well. I think he's an awesome jerk. But yeah, I do enjoy Tom Savini's Night of the Living Dead. I know a lot of people are like, maybe that's one of their, like, what I consider a hot take, where a lot of people are like, that movie is, not only is that movie better than the original, but it's like their favorite zombie movie of all time. Maybe I just need to watch it more. I've probably seen the 90 version of Night of the Living Dead 5 or 6 times. So maybe I need to spend a little more time with it, but I enjoy it. I would say if I ranked it within the franchise, I would probably put it 5th. I'd probably go Day of the Dead, Dawn, Land, Original Night, Night 90, Diary, maybe even Diary of the Dead I like more. I'd have to watch Diary of the Dead again, though. But Survival would certainly be last. Yeah, it is worth skipping for sure. Thank you so much for kicking it with us, Miss C. Hope you have a great rest of your night. Yeah, guys, we'll probably go another few minutes. It's been about 2.5 hours here. I'm starting to get a little tired. But whatever, we have 21 people in here, so if you guys give me reason to keep on kicking, then we'll keep on kicking. What's happening, Jeff? Hope you're doing well, my guy. We got Mr. John Doe Juggalo in the chat, everybody. Gavin says, I wish Alien Romulus was better, but Evil Dead 2013 is literally a masterpiece. I completely agree. I think the best part about Romulus was Andy. Performance was great. I liked that the character had this like back and forth kind of switch. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff that doesn't make sense in Alien Romulus. That seems to be par for the course for these damn Alien movies. I liked Alien Romulus up until the last 15 minutes. Yeah. Oh shit, yeah. The 5th is when Evil Dead 2013 came out. All right. Yep, you guys are living in the 5th right now. I'm still on the 4th. Ghoulies 2 is better than the original. Never could make it through part 3. Part 2 feels more like it's a Killer Clowns type of feel, says Joe Fierro. Joe, how about because last Friday we did talk about horror movie sequels that we love, like the best ones. Tonight we're talking about the worst horror movie sequels. So what's like a really bad horror movie sequel that you can think of off the top of your head? I do like it as well, Gav. I'm not super high on it, So let's see here. Let's move on to another one. Let's just go ahead and hit it. The Final Destination, aka Final Destination 4. Yeah. I mean, this franchise is like a C+ franchise for me. I thought I would like Final Destination 3 more than I did. Nothing against Mary Elizabeth Winstead. I think she's a cutie and all that stuff. But I didn't think the roller coaster scene I thought was like kind of cool. I thought it was going to be cooler, honestly. The big event. And then everything else is just almost like these skits that are like loosely connected. It didn't flow like a movie for me, the way that the first two films did, and the way that the fifth film did. So, but that's Final Destination 3. It's okay. Final Destination 5, I actually really like that one. That might be my favorite in the franchise. But the Final Destination, that part 4, this one was rough, guys. Our final guy, the guy that's in the Scream TV show, is like the creepy teacher that sleeps with his students. Terrible actor. This guy's awful. I thought the effects, like the 3D, looked pretty cheap. The effects during the event at the racetrack, it really didn't impress me. That don't impress me much, as Shania Twain would say. Really odd dropping of the N-bomb in this movie too, that like caught me by surprise in the worst way possible, where I was like, oh, like they are just straight up like we're doing this, like we're making this character really, really ugly, which takes a certain amount of finesse, I think, to pull off. I don't know if it was quite earned in the Final Destination. Yeah, this movie, total ass, in my opinion. I'm not a fan of the Final Destination. Let me know what you guys think. It is crazy. You're in the future, Gavin. Gavin, you're living in the future. Tell me what it's like. Jamie says Troll 2 is the worst sequel ever. I saw that in the theater. Holy crap. And my brother and I still laugh at it. I can't believe you went and saw that in the theater. That is friggin' wild. I didn't even know that movie made it to the theater. It is so terrible. Holy crap. Wow. I can't even believe it was in the theater. Did you live in a big city or near a big city when you were younger, Jamie? Man, you would have had to have for Troll 2 to be put in the theater, right? Or it would have been a drive. Man, yeah, Troll 2's terrible. It's like it kind of knows what it is. I didn't even think about putting Troll 2 on here because it's like, I don't know if it's cliched or just sort of like beating that dead horse. Like everyone rips on, everyone rips on Troll 2. There's that whole best worst movie documentary, which is amazing. If you guys haven't seen it, I highly recommend checking it out. Yeah, Troll 2's terrible. Antonis says, I rewatched the Final Destination franchise recently, and I thought 4 was not good or bad. So just right in the middle. But if a movie is kind of right in the middle, doesn't that just mean by default it is bad? T. Parker says, the Final Destination is a bad film I enjoy. All the other Final Destination films I love or enjoy, especially the original and 3. Yeah, I didn't get it. This one was the only one that was tough for me to get through because I recently rewatched some of them. It was the first time I had ever seen them. Sorry, I swear I can talk. I've just been blah blah blahing for 2.5 hours. But yeah, like Antonis, like I just went through these movies recently, and the Final Destination was the only one that I had a tough time with. The performances just really didn't do it for me, and the effects seemed so cheap. Not a fan. The Final Destination has a great death scene where Hunt gets killed in the pool. He gets sucked in like trying to grab his like lucky coin or whatever. Yeah, some of these movies still have good kills. Especially part 3. Like I'm really lukewarm on it, but some of the kills are really fun for sure. The Final Destination was rough. That's putting it lightly. Yeah. Talk about a slog of a movie. Just really difficult getting through it. I haven't seen Final Destination 3 or 4 or 5, but I'm going to be doing a watch party for all of them. Yeah, 3 is fun, and it's I'm lukewarm on it. Like I said, it's okay. 5, I was surprised. After 4, maybe I was just expecting 5 to be so terrible. And what's that guy's name? Nicholas D'Agostino. That actor, I actually really like his chops in that movie. And the movie's just got some fun characters. David Koechner's in there. I thought the 3D was done a little bit better. I did really like the event on the bridge. I thought that's one of the better events that's been in the franchise. Low key, my hot take, if we're just talking Final Destination, is that Final Destination 5 is the best one of the bunch. Yeah, I agree, Jamie. I mean, they've all got their moments, right? This one just really tough for me. There you go. Jamie says 3 is her favorite. 3D movies, 3D ruined movies back in the late 2000s, early 2010s. Yeah, because if you couldn't pour the money into it, it just doesn't look good, right? It's crazy. The tariffs aren't working in the future. Well, there you go. Live in a smallish town and always have. Things were different back then. That's wild that Troll 2 played in your small town. That is so crazy. Oh my God. They're killing her. And then they're going to kill me. Yeah, it's fucking great. Where does the hate come in for Final Destination 4? Is it the CGI, the acting? Yeah, both of those things for me, for sure. Yeah, I think it's poor computer graphics. The event at the beginning doesn't impress me very much. Performances, not a fan. Yeah. Let's see here. I fell asleep on Troll 2, which is bad because I used to never fall asleep to movies. But I can't blame you. Troll 2 is pretty rough. I did love the car wash pool scene and the mall scene in Final Destination 4. Oh yeah, is that the one? Yeah, where they're watching the movie and he's trying to save him. I'm trying to remember. Don't they get killed in like a cafe at the very end? Isn't that how that movie ends? Jared brings up, how about Leprechaun in the Hood and the song Lep in the Hood Come to Do No Good? Yeah, Leprechaun in the Hood. I actually have Leprechaun 2 on my list. I didn't put the Hood one on the list because 2 is my least favorite. But yeah, those Leprechaun in the Hood movies, they ain't great, that's for sure. I thought Miles Fisher, aka Peter, in Final Destination 5 was the best acted and most interesting character in that film. Is he like the best friend of the main guy? He's the one that starts having the drinking problem. His girlfriend was the gymnast. Is that guy? Because if that's who you're talking about, I do think that performance was great. Yeah, they got killed at the end. I haven't seen the full trailer yet, T. Parker. I've stayed away from it. I know last week I said I was going to do a reaction. I just haven't gotten around to it, unfortunately. I'm just still just dealing with some motivation issues just with everything I've been going on in my personal life, unfortunately. So yeah, it's tough, guys. It's tough, but I'm enjoying hopping on live with you guys for sure. Let's see here. Oh, Nettie. Yes, I figured that's who she was talking. Yeah, Nanette, Nettie. I figured. Yeah, you guys are too cute, so sweet. All right, so moving on to. Let's see, how many more of these should we do? It's been a lot of talking tonight. It's been a whole lot of talking. Alien 3. How about that? I don't know if this is the worst in the franchise. When I was a kid, I got enjoyment out of this movie, but it's just so bizarre. You know, killing Newt and is it Hicks from Aliens, such an odd move. I know, David Fincher did this one, but it was just kind of taken out of his hands and manipulated by the studio, and it just ultimately didn't end up being the movie that he wanted it to be. And this movie is just, talk about bleak, depressing. I don't know what they're going for in Alien 3. It's so odd to me, the directions that this movie takes. And they've got, iconic moments. Of course, the shot of, Ripley, like I think she's in like the shower with the alien, like getting right up in her face. Everyone like that, that shot is so iconic and so awesome. They still to this day try to replicate that shot in subsequent films. And, her with the shaved head is such like a cool, like kind of badass look. Maybe this is one that I need to revisit because it's been a while since I've seen it. But when it came out on VHS, I watched this one a lot. And I also played the game on the Sega Genesis, which is a really, really awesome film adaptation to video game, which was rare back in the day. But let me know what you guys think of Alien 3. Am I off on this one? Is this a bad, I get a horror sequel? There's horror elements, so let's just go with that. That's right. There's no crying in podcasting. I will not cry. I promise. To be honest, there's no great Leprechaun movie. I think the first one's pretty all right. The third one's really fun. I talk about a movie that knows what it is. Yeah. Nanette says Lep in the Hood is my favorite of the franchise. Heck yeah. Leprechaun 2 is pretty bad. Getting a girl to sneeze 3 times and she becomes his wife. Yeah, that's the one that's on my list, Eli, is Leprechaun 2. I'll never watch that one again unless I'm doing a watch party. Leprechaun Origins was terrible because the Leprechaun looked nothing like the original one. Yeah, I haven't seen that one. Is that the Legacy sequel, though? Yeah. I appreciate that, T. Parker. Yeah, it's, good. There's good days and bad days. So, and just trying to keep everything moving and afloat, of course, I appreciate that, Gavin. Thank you so much, man. Yeah, I really appreciate you, bud. Yes, this is the David Fincher one, and it is not his fault. And yeah, I liked when I was a kid, not knowing any of the background and everything, and I did find a lot of enjoyment for this movie. So I wanted to put it out there because this one gets trashed so much. So it was like, what do you guys think? And like as a kid, this might have been was this the first movie I saw in the franchise? Because the whole like Newt Hicks thing, like when I was a kid, I don't even know, that might have just gone like totally over my head, and it didn't even occur to me that that's what happened. So I could be totally off on this one. Jamie says I never understood the hate for Alien 3. I really liked it, and the director's cut is even better. I've never seen that director's cut, so I should be able to or I should find a way to check that out and see how I feel about it. Golic became a secondary antagonist in the assembly cut of Alien 3. So is that the director's cut? Is it called the assembly cut? Is there a difference? I saw it once last year and remember it just being okay. Yeah. Nanette does not like it. Alien 3, aka How to Destroy a Franchise. Yeah, there are tons of issues behind the scenes. It got to the point where David Fincher was like, this isn't even my movie anymore. I see, and I don't even remember CGI. This is the one where the alien comes out of the dog, right? So it's like the alien doesn't stand up like a human. They're sort of like hunched down. Perfect for running through pipes. Alien 3 pissed all over the great movie that came before it. Little did we know Terminator Dark Fate would manage to pull off the same feat again 33 years later. Sucks, says Jared Arnold. Yeah. Dark Fate, that one is really, really bad. And in defense of Alien 3, it sounds like, another case of this movie being manipulated and, kind of torn apart by the studio, unfortunately. Yeah, even T. Parker says it's my least favorite in the franchise, but I understand why it has fans. Yeah. Alien 3 is all right, says Eli, but I prefer the first one. Oh, yeah. The first Alien movie is easily my favorite in the franchise. Yeah, it's not even close. Director's cut and assembly could be the same thing. That's another one that I know, Jamie, I've watched, kind of like with Book of Shadows that you had, sent me that link. I know I've seen like a deep dive behind the scenes on Alien 3, and I should probably rewatch it. It's fascinating to take in that information, more than once. Have you guys checked out that channel on YouTube called Bullets and Blockbusters? I think that's what it's called. I really dig that channel because it dives into a whole bunch of like what if kind of scenarios on movies. Here, I'm going to share it in the chat for you guys so you guys can check it out if you'd like to. Hello, there we go. There we are. So yeah, if you guys want to check that out, I really dig that channel. Can sort of, deep dives into the whole like what if scenarios of versions of movies that were never made kind of thing. Let's see here. Can't top Aliens. They didn't have a chance. Yeah, pretty tough. going into Alien 3 for sure. The alien comes out of an ox in the assembly cut. Oh, that's wild. Does Alien 3 have a behind-the-scenes documentary where I can learn why? You can find it on... oh, there you go. Good Bad Flicks might have a deep dive of Alien 3. I love Good Bad Flicks, too. If you guys don't follow Good Bad Flicks. Let me see. Is there an Alien 3? I don't see one popping up. There's a Joe Blow for what the hell happened to this movie, or what the fuck happened to this movie. But yeah, you can find something online, Antonis, for sure, if you do a little search. You got it, Nanette. Yeah, Bullets and Blockbusters is really fun. Okay, guys, I can tell that my energy is starting to dip, so I might just call it good there. There's a few more of these that I kind of wanted to chat about, but we made it through like 95% of the movies that I had here on this list, and we were able to talk about some of the ones that you guys had brought up, which is what I really wanted to accomplish here, is just being able to chat with you guys, you know, about the worst horror movie sequels in your opinion. So yeah, guys, just wanted to let you know before everybody dips out here. Oh, let me close out the poll. So 56 votes. Holy cow. Which horror movie franchise do you most want to see make a return to the big screen? Friday the 13th is winning with 48%. A Nightmare on Elm Street second place at 38%. And Texas Chainsaw and Child's Play are tied at 7% apiece. Thank you so much to everybody that voted in that poll. That's awesome. Getting 56 votes for this little channel is pretty damn cool. Yeah, guys, if you're watching this after the fact and you made it this far, that's amazing. Let me know in the comments below what you think about our thoughts on these worst horror movie sequels, and let us know what some of yours are as well. Gavin, really appreciate the $3.90 the $3.999. Is that right? The $3.999 super chats that you threw at us today. Really appreciate you guys. Welcome to the new channel members. We have 10 brand new channel members. Guys, I'm going to be doing a members only stream on Sunday. I'm working until like 1 o'clock on Sunday. And then, you know, after that, I'll be jumping on here and doing a little members only stream with you guys. So I'm going to put a post out there for the members so you guys can vote on what kind of stream you want. And then, yeah, guys, next Monday, Hit the Bricks Live, or this coming Monday, Hit the Bricks Live is returning. So we're going to be covering movie news. And then on Wednesday, I'll be back with Jason from Backtrack Cinema on Late Night with the Davey. And we've got some other really fun stuff planned for the rest of the month here. It's been just getting back on the horse after everything going on with my personal life shakeup here. So really looking forward to getting back into it with Foz from Movie Punks and Mark from Tales from the Shelf and our guy Matt Facci over on Facci Cinema. And holy cow, right at the buzzer, we got our guy Cody Leach jumping in and says, I click on and I see Freddy's Dead Praise and Freddy versus Jason slander. My disappointment is immeasurable and my night is ruined. Hey, I don't think I know I didn't praise Freddy's Dead for sure. And Freddy versus Jason, it's like, Cody, I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's probably, it works more for me as a Nightmare on Elm Street movie than it does like a Friday the 13th movie, if that makes any sense. Yeah, Freddy's Dead. I mean, the Goo Goo Dolls song is the only positive thing I can say, I guess. I mean, Carlos's death, I like that. But but yeah, that movie is rough. And man, Freddy versus Jason, I think there's just like this slickness to it, and this like maybe like over polished, maybe something that's a bit too like pop for me about it. I don't know. I've got that gritty like punk rock kind of thing in me. So like sometimes when a movie looks too clean, I'm just sort of like, oh, I want it to be a little dirtier. I don't know. Maybe that's a Ronnie Yu thing. Although Bride of Chucky, I really, really dig Bride of Chucky. I think I like the soundtrack on Bride of Chucky more than I like the soundtrack on Freddy versus Jason. But they're very, Ronnie Yu certainly has that style for sure. So I can definitely appreciate that. Yeah, guys, I mean, if you're hanging out over here and you're not already subbed on Cody's channel, I would be massively surprised. One of the best, YouTubers out there talking movies for sure. Not just in the horror sphere, but just film in general. So really appreciate you jumping in and letting us know that we ruined your night. My disappointment is immeasurable. I love that. We should do a Davey Death Ray t-shirt that says, my disappointment is immeasurable and my night has been, or you've ruined my night. And my night is ruined. There you go. Love it. Buy yourself some breakfast if YouTube doesn't take it all. They'll probably take half. I do prefer the walking walls. He remembers. Yes. Yep. Jason, Michael, I'm a total basic bitch for those guys. What can I say? Love it. Hey, who doesn't, right? Yeah. That's what's up, Mark. I don't know. What am I missing? And again, I don't hate Freddy versus Jason. I enjoyed watching it in the theater for sure. But yeah, I guess as the years go on, I'm just a little like, it's okay. It's fine. Yeah. Who praised Freddy's Dead? They were lying. I think Miss C said it was her third favorite in the franchise. The original, Dream Warriors, and Freddy's Dead. How's that for a top 3? I have a lot of fun. We have Freddy versus Jason, and Halloween H2O are the only movies back when I was a teenager I got to see in theaters. Yeah, I think Freddy versus Jason was the first A Nightmare on Elm Street, or Freddy or Jason movie that I got to see in the theater for sure. I really enjoyed the 2009 Friday the 13th remake. I caught that one in the theater and had a really good time with that one. All right, guys. Holy cow. We are just shy of 3 hours. I'm going to give my voice a rest, have a very late dinner, and wake up for work in the morning. I love all you guys for kicking it with us. Thank you so much. The discussion is always amazing when I'm hanging out live with y'all. Really appreciate the Patreon members, the channel members. Welcome to our brand new 10 members as of today. Again, Gavin, the super chats, man. Really appreciate you. I will buy myself a little brekkie brek with that. Shout out to our Death Squad mods. Tonight we had Fachi's Cinema. Of course, Jamie Hart, the lovely Jamie Hart in the chat. Eli Cortez. I think we even had Trisha McMasters in there and Leanna Bevy Rage. Really appreciate all of our great mods. I will be back on Monday for Hit the Bricks Live, and that'll be over on the Drum Dums channel, on the main channel there. And then on Wednesday, I'll be back here for a little late night with the Davey action. And for all you channel members, Sunday afternoon, keep an eye out for that post. I'm going to make sure to send that out or to post that tonight. So if you don't have the notification bell make sure you hit that so you can be notified on the little post there. So yeah, guys, really appreciate y'all. Have a great rest of your night. And until next time, I've been and will continue being Davey Death Ray. Take care.